not fucking leaving. What are you doing, man? Stupid fucking thing. All right. Lemon Leviticus. This is a great song, by the way. Come on, you love that song. Fucking light's so bright when it's zoomed out, isn't it? Jesus Christ. I just can't. There's no in between those, so it's whatever. I don't care. I haven't been zoomed out in a long time. Fuck me. What do I do? It's fine. We're just leaving it. I should probably put my... Should I put my Discord up? So people can fucking actually debate me? We're all the fucking debaters, bro. He's just some dude who joined our Discord, I don't know, like a week ago? Maybe not even that long. Kind of gone by pretty fast. And, AK. Groofus asked me because he invoked me because he thought he was like making a joke that this guy was my alt because of the way he was typing, which I took offense to. But he was like, I noticed he was being kind of a dick to Groofus, so naturally, because I can't control myself, I challenged his like really, in my opinion, incorrect authority claim, and that triggered him. And then he wanted to debate me on my definition of fascism because he's not really interested in debate. He's interested in being a manipulator, like an abuser, you know. That's his default setting, so I mean, kind of feel sorry for him, but Debate Hub. I mean, you know, I like debate. Who was the guy? I don't know. He was some rando. But again, I've said this to Kay already. He already knows, but I don't really think. No. It was kind of interesting. I don't really think someone should do what I did to our friend yesterday. Like I want to be really honest there. It's not a good thing to do. Like if you know that someone is like vulnerable specifically, or like you know that it'll like hurt them, I don't really think it's a good idea to abuse that. But I really, the outwardly effect that the man had, I think kind of made me feel less bad about it, but I still feel kind of shitty about it, to be honest with you.
Welcome to Democracy Now!
It's not really something you should ever do.
Now, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report.
Okay, I need 1 second to set something up real fast, but I'm gonna look into it, by the way. Might as well. I need to post everything. God damn, bro. He wasn't just like a shit talker, right? Like, there's a difference between, you know, like I told him, attacking like character and then attacking behavior, or getting like angry or something like that, or, you know, there's, I mean, Bogos, I'm pretty sure people who walk in to some of the conversations we used to have would probably be like, okay, this is a little intense, but there is a massive difference between like behavior, in my opinion, I will attack his character now. Character like that, and disagreement, but you know, it is what it is. Yeah, sorry, Molotov. I'm gonna be honest with you. I just don't think you are smart enough to understand. I think you're too focused on the content form instead of the you know, like the what, the do. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know exactly what I mean, right? Like you're just not capable. You're just not good enough, and I think that that's just what you have to accept because you're beneath me. I can't even say it in irony, bro. It's just so cringe the way it comes off my fucking.
Report. I'm Amy Goodman.
I'm Amy Goodman. Classic.
Welcome to Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. The U.S. continues to bomb Iran for an 11th straight day, as Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth testified on Capitol Hill that the cost of war has soared to over $37 billion.
Did any of you guys watch this? Good. It was a waste of time. But I don't know, man. This guy, every day I'm reminded that for some reason, a man whose own mother took out a fucking, decided to pay for, I guess, or at least sponsor a public opinion about her own son being a woman abuser who has a pretty credible rape case in which the only reason he was not charged and convicted is because the police lost their witness because he paid her to the tunes of millions of dollars. But the case itself, if you go into the actual case, she had a rape kit. I mean, he was kind of fucked. But somehow, I have to take this guy seriously.
That's an increase of nearly
like I have to be like, oh, okay, I got to listen to him today. A dude whose own mother took out an opinion piece to proclaim how much of a fucking abuser he is.
Dollars since the last public estimate. Hegseth also asked Congress to approve tens of billions of dollars in additional Pentagon funding to finance the war on Iran. In retaliation, Iran struck U.S. bases in Bahrain, Kuwait, and Jordan on Tuesday. Kuwaitis are reportedly forced to ration electricity after...
Yeah, Molotov, that guy was fragile. You know, like it was obvious, right? Like he was fragile as fuck.
Iranian strikes on power infrastructure.
And I abused that. But he deserved it. I don't know.
To raise fears of outages.
I do feel
this comes as far-right Israeli Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich said Israel has no interest in joining U.S. military operations against Iran. The U.S. reportedly requested Israel stay out of the most recent conflict while negotiations were ongoing following a so-called ceasefire agreement brokered.
Wait, Israel is deciding not to pursue the murder of babies daily?
Last April.
By like the thousands? I'm kidding, this is a lie.
Meanwhile, the Trump administration is set to announce that it's reached a deal with Saudi Arabia that could allow the country to enrich its own fuel for nuclear reactors. This is President Trump speaking from the Oval Office Tuesday.
Sorry, what? I knew it!
Trump administration is set to announce that it's reached a deal with Saudi Arabia that could allow the country to enrich its own fuel for nuclear reactors. This is President Trump speaking from the Oval Office Tuesday.
I fucking knew it, dude. Everyone thought Okay. That what was sold to Saudi Arabia was nuclear secrets, enrichment.
Iran is bigger. It's a more complex situation, but we're probably doing equally as well if you look at the damage that's been done. And again, as I said to the young man that just posed the question over here, if we left today, it would take them decades to rebuild, and I don't believe they could ever rebuild. And honestly,
Man, I mean, they are still in the fucking Bronze Age.
they
Who
haven't
knows? It's not like they have construction equipment. That's not how it works over there.
seen anything yet.
They build with hands.
We've been nice.
Yemen's Houthi rebels are warning.
This is crazy to me. This one, we're just glossing over this.
Meanwhile, the Trump administration is set to announce that it's reached a deal with Saudi Arabia that could allow the country to enrich its own fuel for nuclear reactors.
That's insane. Lovely. Actually insane. And there's a big like, in my opinion, paper trail for this, okay? I don't know if I can do this quickly, guys, because it'd probably be boring to watch me, like, you know, fucking autistically research for the meeting in which, oh, you know what? I think I actually, oh my God, bless you. Bless your heart, fucking AI, dude. Where are we? I actually fucking, because I couldn't find it, I think I actually did a chat with it about it. Maybe. It might be archived. I think Datavolt might be better. Oh, fuck. Did I really not? Could have sworn I went looking for it. Part of my... No. It was pretty old, so it should... It's a sign of what? What does that comment mean? It's a sign of the... Energy infrastructure, I think, is something I can't remember how to spell infrastructure. Help! Help! Where is it? Come on. Come on. Where you at? Fuck me, dude. AI? Energy? Dude, I could have... Is that it? All right, I guess we'll see. AI investment versus other. This one might have it. This is me talking to AI, trying to figure out how much investment is happening in AI. Fucking AIception. I don't know what the fuck this is. Oh, this is something that's unrelated. God damn it, bro.
This is President Trump
Right.
speaking from the Oval Office Tuesday.
My contention, okay, guys, sorry, that was a long time. Trump released this executive order because I don't really feel like just letting everyone not know what the fuck I was trying to do there. Okay, executive order by Trump, $600 billion, right? I don't think so. Energy infrastructure, right? So this stupid bill right here, or this executive order, guys, if we look closer at this, okay, we realize that this is bullshit. No, I'm kidding. It is bullshit, but let's make it a little bigger. There we go. So it says the following represent just a few of the many transformative deals, which, by the way, very free market to have the president unilaterally somehow control investment of $600 billion. That makes no sense, but it's definitely market central planning. But Saudi Arabian Data Vault, okay, keep that in your head. When I went to go look at this company, dude, it looks like if you hired a high schooler to like make a WordPress page. Maybe they've changed it, but okay, it's exactly what you would imagine. Just like stock images and like dudes going like they haven't changed it at all. Dude. Transforming the data center landscape. And then I went to go check exactly how much this company has done and if it deserves $20 billion of energy infrastructure. That means the literal energy infrastructure in our country to the tune of $20 billion, which made me immediately think, nuclear? What the fuck is $20 billion worth of something? Like, that's a pretty, that's very expensive for a plant. That's usually like nuclear costs. But it's more than that. We have no idea how much it really is. None of this is true, and it's also just true in the inverse, as in like, it's fake, but there's some truth to it. Okay? But the Saudi Arabian company has literally zero capability of doing this. There's no reason they should have gotten this contract, I guess. And you go look up who owns this, right? Take like 10 seconds to go see, you know, who, oh shit. Data Vault, who owns? It's owned by Vision Invest, if I'm not mistaken, yeah. Which has a portfolio, and I think you're starting to get the picture here, right? It's just the Sheik and his buds, right? It's fucking beautiful, man. And then we go to leadership. Paddy Padmanathan, Muhammad Abonayan, Omar Ali Medini. Yes. America first. It doesn't matter to me. I don't really know these people. What I do care about, though, is that this is, if you go deeper, this is literally just a Saudi, you know, royal family fucking money pit that we are going to let me say this again. If you think Israel's influence is a lot because, you know, they spend money in local elections to the tune of, I think, $100 million to $300 million in an election year, wait until you see when a foreign country has control over our energy infrastructure. Huh? To the tune of 20. What the fuck are we doing? So this is alarming to me because this, and then there was a subsequent video of Trump and his energy secretary. I'm not gonna be able to find it right now. He has so many of these little, like, you know, in the White House office meetings. But it was like unleashing nuclear energy, and he accidentally said the amount of money that it would supposedly help with. Okay, and it was literally, it lined up exactly with the number you're reading here, and I was like, wait a minute, what is he talking about with nuclear energy? It was something like this.
Thank you very much. We have a very big announcement today. It has to do with nuclear energy and other things. And this is all nuclear. It's a hot industry. It's a brilliant.
You know what they did? This executive order here, Unleash Nuclear Energy, allows the foreign governments to bid, or foreign, interest to, if I'm not mistaken, bid or have more, because they want to like put on the facade that they're trying to get rid of the regulations so we can develop nuclear. But in reality, it seemed to me like, see if I can find it.
Industry, you have to do it right. It's become very safe and
environmental. Here it is. Okay. So right here.
Enough power to
I have no idea how I found it.
To cover all of Mexico, actually.
I didn't know that. When we talked, you were so modest. I can't believe it.
That's normally not said about me, Mr. President.
I'm very impressed. Go ahead. So you think it's got a great future?
Yeah, well, absolutely we do. And the big change here is not only the technology has come around, but we have some of the largest companies in the world, the hyperscalers, who need this energy for AI, who are now working with us to fund the development and construction of the next generation nuclear.
Okay, so I swear to God, think about that for a second. Some of the largest companies around the world, hyperscalers, who are going to help us build energy for AI. They didn't put nuclear here because he knows he can't, and it wouldn't look good at all. But this is Saudi Arabian Data Vault is invested $20 billion here, whatever the fuck the number is, so they could build nuclear power plants for AI data centers. I don't even want to begin to understand how much of a security risk that is and just how gnarly that is, man. We should be developing it. But, I mean, to me, it's just, it makes sense.
Working with us to fund the development and construction of the next generation nuclear. Nuclear is a 24/7 resource. These data centers run 24/7. Some of them will cost $200-300 billion, and they want to run them all of the time. So we can't use intermittent resources. We need something that's always on, 24/7, and nothing does that better than nuclear. The problem in the industry has historically been regulatory delay. Mr. President, you know this because
because nuclear has caused some pretty devastating things. Most nuclear, I bet everyone in here feels the same. A lot of the nuclear energy that we can produce today is very different. Everyone knows this. Everyone I talk to is like, we should probably try and do more nuclear. But the congressional regulation behind it is still pretty difficult to overcome. We can change that. But instead, all I hear is literally retards like this going, there's too much regulation on nuclear. It's damn Democrats' fault. And then I hear Democrats go, we should look into nuclear more. We just need to, do it properly, invest. And then it's just a never-ending game of this, and then this is the answer, I guess.
The best at building big things. Delay in regulations and permitting will absolutely kill you, because if you can't get the plant on, you can't get revenue, and the interest costs are horrible. We're wasting...
The interest cost? Huh?
Too much time on permitting, and we're answering silly questions, not the...
What's funny is, I don't even think permitting is the hard part. I think it's the fact that, depending on what kind of nuclear plant you're going to do, it's expensive.
Important ones. For example, let me give you an example. In 3 places in this country, we're trying to license new reactors at sites that already have reactors.
Wow, I can only imagine why that would be difficult. Because they probably already have a toxic, footprint, and depending on where it is, I don't know if you guys know this, but the reactor that was in Washington that essentially gave all of the stuff for all of the plutonium, I think, for the Manhattan Project is in eastern Washington along... Not Moses, it's right here. Columbia, it's on the Columbia River. Is this it? No. It's somewhere around here. And to this day, it's like completely poisoned the water. Like absolutely obliterated the water. It's a nuclear power plant, Washington State. Should be somewhere around here, right? How close was I? This one? Oh, here it is. Here it is. Yep, this is it. Yeah. This is all a national park now. Here's other parts of it. So all of this is literally unusable. And here's more of the power plant, okay? The Hanford site, there it is. The ground, if I'm not mistaken, if you go look up the Hanford site underground pollution, right? I wonder if he's talking about this one. Because they want to add to the Hanford site. But they're in the process of trying to fully cap it because all they did was they buried, like, right here, actually. Underneath all that, it's just dozens of fucking, you know, corroding containers of plutonium waste, and it's leaking into the ground. Yeah, here you go. This is the picture. So it's made its way to the water from the Hanford site, and this is what it looks like underground at this site. It's not like I think he's talking about this site because there's a plan, Hanford nuclear site expansion. I think they wanted to try to do an expansion, right? Is there the Trump administration proposed cutting National Science Foundation? Okay. Fine. I wonder if they made an announcement on it. They haven't. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. The interest rates too. That's so funny. How about you just fucking do better, bro? Make a better company that's profitable. Fuck you. Anyways, apparently it's all out in the open now. All that secrecy, you know, here.
Yet I have to spend $35 billion at each site just for the NRC to do an analysis that says this is a good place for nuclear.
It's literally not even close to how that much of that would cost. He just like put the entire plant cost.
Well, guess what? We've been running nuclear in that community for 4 decades.
Oh my God, he is talking about the Hanford site. Maybe longer?
Why are we even asking that question?
Because it has a toxic footprint that you probably aren't interested in hearing about.
I'd rather spend that $35 million, 3 times $105 million, perfecting the design, start building the foundation, and get.
Yeah, but if the ground is literally radiated below, who's going to work there? And how do you make sure it doesn't just like leak into the Columbia River like Hanford is?
Getting going. We need to do this for America.
Are we doing something about the regulatory in here?
Oh, yes, sir. You are,
Because
sir.
that's going to be a big factor.
Yes, sir. That issue I just described will be addressed in this EO and many other issues that we don't have time with the president to
But you
cover
say
today.
it's very,
Anyways, Saudi Arabia building nuclear energy.
Iran is bigger.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. No. Exactly. Thank you. This is why it's so outrageous. You know what else is funny? Okay, there's another company here. I've gone through all of this when he first did this, right? And like, look at this one, Shockmass Solutions LLC, just for fun. Let's just have some fun really fast. Give me everything about this LLC. Its previous contracts, when it was filed. I already know all these answers, guys, but I'm just curious to see what you guys think, because it's very suspect. Okay. Previous, yeah, it'll probably be fine there. So when I look this up, I'll bring you to at least to the website of this place. So you can, this fucking random Shockmess Solutions LLC, investing $5.8 billion to build a plant in Michigan. Just, huh? What? Why did they get a special contract or something? I don't know. Well, Cletus. Okay, weird. They got nothing. They don't have. Oh, they took off their website. That's right. Forgot about that. They did take their website off. Last time I looked into this again, or was showing it on stream, they took their website off. Anyways, we'll get it from this. Hurry up.
It's a more complex situation, but we're probably doing equally as well if you look at the damage that's been done. And again, as I said to the young man that just posed the question over here, if we left today, it would take them decades to rebuild, and I don't believe they could ever rebuild. And honestly, they haven't seen anything yet. We've been nice.
Yemen's Houthi rebels are warning shipping companies that their tankers risk being attacked if they use Saudi Arabian ports. This comes after the Houthis announced the closure of the Bab el-Mandab Strait to Saudi ships in retaliation for the kingdom's blockade on Yemen. 2 oil tankers that were reportedly loaded with Saudi crude oil en route to China and India Tuesday were forced to divert towards the Suez Canal. In Gaza, the Israeli military is moving to quickly build a giant barrier separating the portion of the Gaza Strip it controls from the rest of the enclave. In recent months, more than 23 kilometers, about 14 miles, have been constructed. Israel currently controls just over half the territory. This comes as an Israeli airstrike killed a family of 6, including 4 children in Gaza City on Tuesday. Since last October's so-called ceasefire, more than 1,100 Palestinians have been killed in Israeli attacks. In Lebanon,
I forgot to put my stream
3
everywhere.
villages in the south will be the first to implement the framework agreement brokered between Israel, Lebanon, and the U.S. Under the deal, the Israeli military is set to retreat from areas it occupies in southern Lebanon to allow the Lebanese military to take over and oversee the disarmament of Hezbollah. This is Ali Allah, who's a resident of the southern Lebanese town of Zohar al-Gharbiyeh.
We are waiting for the Army's decision to allow the residents to enter the town, as the Army promised that once the engineering regiment finishes its work, the residents may be allowed to enter. But so far, as we've been told, the engineering regiment hasn't finished yet because there are explosive devices and unexploded ammunition.
Meanwhile, President Trump Tuesday said he would allow U.S. carriers to resume direct flights to Lebanon more than 40 years after the U.S. suspended the route following the hijacking of a U.S. passenger plane back in 1985. A 3-judge federal appeals panel has overturned a lower court's ruling that ordered the release from...
Wait, what? So Trump claimed $5.8 billion investment, and they're only modestly, the Saudi Arabian company with literally 0 contracts and was licensed a day after the election win, not kidding, is only doing a fraction of the original amount of corruption. Okay,
from
man,
ICE
kind of
custody
cool. Like,
of Palestinian
Trump lies
rights
about the
activist
corruption, he
Mohsen
overinflates it
Madawi
at
in a
least.
ruling that could allow the Trump administration to rearrest the Columbia University graduate. In May, the U.S. Board of Immigration Appeals reinstated deportation proceedings against Madawi, who is a green card holder. In April of last year, masked and hooded ICE agents detained him when he appeared what he believed would be a naturalization interview in Vermont. He spent 2 weeks in ICE custody before a federal judge ordered his release. After his release, he came back to Columbia University, where he graduated and now is a graduate student. To see our interviews with Mohsen Madawi, go to our website at democracynow.org. The Trump administration arrested a record more than 43,000 immigrants in the month of June, the highest number since Trump returned to office. That's according to an analysis.
43,000? That's a lot. How the fuck does that make sense?
By The Guardian, which reports more than 65,000 immigrants.
Hello. Is this getting worse? I'm slowly descending into despair, I think.
Immigrants are estimated to be in ICE detention, while the Trump administration's deported more than 500,000 immigrants since January 2025. The majority of immigrants targeted by Trump officials have no criminal record. In related news, Time magazine reports the Trump administration's planning to expand immigrant detention across over a dozen locations nationwide, including the Virgin Islands and Guantanamo
What?
Bay, the U.S. military base in Cuba. This comes as Citizens Bank has announced it will officially begin to cut ties with two of the nation's largest private operators of ICE jails, GEO Group and CoreCivic, amidst growing calls to
I don't know, it just makes me upset, you know? This makes me upset.
boycott the bank over
Like, immigration policy is one thing. I don't really know how people can lie to themselves and think that this would be immigration policy anymore.
its financing of the two for-profit prison companies. To see our interview on the subject, go to democracynow.org.
Midterm predictions? Trump's not interested in having elections, man. Remember, Trump's supposedly not going to run again, and there should be no reason for him to care that much. He seems to care a lot. So, prediction for midterm elections? I don't think it matters anymore. I think they're inconsequential. I think they'll be used as a vehicle to exercise more crisis executive breaking constraint material, which I kind of predicted to my girlfriend with the China thing. When she told me to watch his speech, I hadn't watched it yet. And she's like, well, why don't you guess what it is? It's about the election. And I was like, he's going to blame a foreign enemy and try and put the election security into an executive order for emergency purposes. That way he can essentially just like take voting machines, or we don't have no idea what it means, but it's his best option. He doesn't have to postpone the elections. So, I mean, Trump obviously wants to avoid jail, Ollie, but we have to remember that Trump is primarily not interested, or he's not really thinking about jail, I promise you. He's a grandiose narcissist. It's about, he really thinks that everything he does is honestly probably perfect. So that means he probably really thinks that, you know, he should actually continue. He needs to be the man who fixes America, the one who enacts the retribution for people who support him. Those are all more powerful than, you know, 2 year limits in the Constitution to him. So I think what's more likely to happen is his administration, people in his administration know that their decisions are now dependent on, their very freedom, in a way, like you just mentioned, to avoid jail, are dependent on the actions they take next. And this has a dependency chain built into it, right? There's something called political momentum, which I talk about often, which I think the easiest way to try and explain this to people is a simple question. And then I want you to answer it honestly. So imagine yourself as like Pete Hegseth or Trump right now, or RFK or Doge, or any of these people who are in the administration. Just imagine yourself as one of them at the moment. If I was to ask you, what is your best option now? As in, like, what is in your best interest to do? If you were hypothetically going to make the next decision for these people, just imagine it, right? Is the next decision that you are expecting to do in your own best interest, right? Is it stop doing illegal things and let the Democrats take power and then ultimately put you in jail? Or is it continue to do more illegal things and stop the Democrats from coming back to power and possibly putting you in jail? And I think that one's kind of easy to try and understand if you're in this moment now, right? We think it's unreasonable. I'm sure you do too. I think it's unreasonable because I never be in that situation. Yeah. And I think it's a good way to try and understand the decision making they do. I mean, probably higher than the average person, but I'm not like an expert. Trump turns on people instantly. Yeah. Republicans are no longer Republicans. I really want people to understand that. I think the history books, okay, if you watch, okay, I need you guys to understand something. If you
In
watch
Texas.
who is actually talking in Congress, like if we go to a committee hearing right now, okay, I was watching the Hegseth one. We'll just do that one really fast. We like to think that there's no support for Trump. You know, you hear about the polls, you hear about like, you know, surely this is going to be the thing that makes people upset. They stop supporting him. I'm sorry. Congress is not doing anything, not because they're scared. That happened a long time ago. Congress is not doing anything because Trump unilaterally, across the entire country, using his social media platforms, handpicked every single person in Congress. Now, it's been 12 years of him literally going, whoever was running in Congress, and after 2020, if they did not, you know, if they didn't say the election was fraud or anything like that, Trump would highlight their name to hundreds of millions of people. He would, like, fund the other person in opposition. He would make sure everyone knew that person's name. So honestly, and obviously they lost. So Trump like handpicked every person in this country in the last 6 years for Republican elections. And that means they're no longer Republicans. So for clarity, let's just go to Katie Britt. She's on this, right? Isn't Katie Britt on this? No, well, Kennedy's a good example. Let's use Kennedy. This guy looks like he's been in Congress for a long time. No, he hasn't.
Continues to be successful. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Like, just listen to this guy's question style. It's the most begging the question, the fucking flaccid wiener I've ever heard in my entire life. He's got like a little whistle, like he's actually still whipping black people on the plantation, too.
Senator Kennedy.
Wow.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you all for being here today.
Thank you all for being here.
General, in the war between Russia and Ukraine, who do we want to win?
Sir, I want Ukraine to win.
Is Russia America's friend?
I'm sorry, sir, I couldn't quite hear your question.
Is Russia America's friend?
Whoa, he's pretty aggressive.
I think
I've never seen him. I totally
that
forgot about
depends
this.
on your definition of
must
friend.
have
I think
skipped
it's a
him.
complicated relationship. But no, I don't think they're our friends.
Thank you. If we could cut off Russia's cash flow, which depends substantially on its sale of oil, would that help Ukraine win?
So I think militarily, anytime you can restrict resources and cash.
I actually have to know about this Shockma thing. Okay, so what the fuck is going on with this, man? I did this earlier because I was trying to make a joke, and now I'm like confused. Okay. Did you see this registration date? Literally like a month after Trump won the election. Weird. Why is a LLC that was made a month before getting a $5.8 million contract allowed to get this contract or allowed to do this? It's just wild. Wow. They still haven't selected a site? There is no independently verified evidence of 2025 groundbreaking commencement of construction, a disclosed Saudi land grant, a Detroit site acquisition, project financing closing, customer deliveries. The company's public news page still contains only the January and May 2025 announcements. Interesting. It just gets worse and worse. Okay. What the fuck? Anyways, there's people like Katie Britt,
Cash flows.
who I think would probably be better to watch. I didn't think Kennedy would be a little weird right there. I think he's going to turn it around, but I'm not going to wait for it. We have another hearing I watched recently, which was CDC one, dude. This one? We have
According
Bernie,
to the American
and then we have people like, where are you? Ollie. This is another guy. I love this guy. He's great.
I absolutely believe it is safe and it's effective, and I urge all parents to get the vaccination shot.
Thank you.
Senator Hawley.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Thanks to the nominees for being here. Congratulations on your nominations. Dr. Schwartz, if I could just start with you. I want to ask you a question that I'm getting a lot now at home in the state of Missouri. And it's a question for which I don't have an answer because I'm not a doctor and I'm not a scientist. But we have a lot of data centers in the state of Missouri. More and more, 60, I think, right now in my state, many more coming online. Nationally, of course, I think there's something on the order of 4,000 with another 3,000 planned as soon as this coming year, maybe by the end of the calendar year. Here's my question to you. I get asked.
Energy, you wouldn't be pro data center if fucking derailing me. You have a natural like a talent, dude. Fucking you wouldn't be pro data center, I think, if this is what was happening to you. A lot of these data centers, man, are operating illegally. Okay? They're like, Trump's administration is not investigating whether or not they are breaking regulatory, for like pollution. So let's say you're these people.
Side of these mass energy is pulsed.
Stargate. Sia, or OG as she likes to be called, lives right next door to Stargate. We launched the thermal drone from her property to get a look at what's really going on.
My husband and I both served in the military.
Why would being an expert in computer science or math be necessary to know whether or not data centers can be a bad economic project, environmental project, or simply a project that needs to be done correctly? Explain yourself. What's going on? Does the math in advanced computer science or whatever address anything I just said? Look at this one.
What brought us to Abilene was his military service. After being here for a couple years, we really just kind of fell in love with it. It took us a year to find this property. Just the views, the horizon, the
Look how beautiful this is. And they're veterans, by the way.
Sunrise, the sunset. It was just our own little piece of happiness. In 2025, Stargate started to break ground on the property. And all of a sudden, life changed. We had no idea what they were building there. And then we heard that the reason we couldn't find out what they were building there was because people were asked to sign a non-disclosure agreement. And when they get there, there's just dust flying everywhere. We started taking a poll to see how often
Data centers are being built for the service I use. Not the internet, but energy. What is the point of your comment? Are you trying to call me a hypocrite? Or are you trying to say I'm expressing a double standard? Or No, that is not true. This is primarily because of AI usage, not just simple internet use. So I don't really know what. I still want to know what you're trying to say.
We have to change our filters.
I'm actually not saying to get rid of these ones either. I just here, let me because I know where energy is going. I think the argument here is like I'm inconsistent. But let me tell you why that's not true. If you were going to build an energy center or like an energy AI energy infrastructure as well as the AI data center, and you had two options, or there's technically more and it's on a spectrum, but let's just hypothetically right now do a binary. You could make or build a AI data center like Stargate is, Elon Musk's company, and you could install 59 fucking natural gas turbines, unregulated, and just act like that's okay. Build everything using non-disclosure agreements, make sure no one can prove or, you know, no one can actually try to if they want to. Call you out. Don't go to any of the town halls or the, you know, where other states wouldn't allow us because you have to go pitch your project. Texas, though, is why I don't ever want to live in Texas. Fuck that. But 59, 30 of which are unregulated in the Atlanta plant. And if I'm not mistaken, it's about 4,000 metric tons of nitrous oxide pollution next to you. It's also about 20,000 metric tons of nitrous oxide pollution, if hypothetically we assume they're all running, which is not the truth, but it doesn't matter. And then 4,000 metric tons of carbon monoxide annually. And you tell me that you want that fucking thing next to you.
And it's every 2 weeks because they're completely filthy and full.
All right, so this is what it looks like in a standard drone shot, but watch what
It doesn't look like pollution, but here, look how these are like fucking literal, like stack turbines.
happens when I switch to thermal. Wow. It's important to note that it's not showing us the specific pollutants or specific gases that are emitted by
Nitrous oxide, carbon monoxide, and carbon dioxide.
By these turbines, but just by showing us that heat signature, we know that pollution is happening at this site.
Gas turbines like these are essentially jet engines that generate electricity. And they emit a lot of greenhouse gases and harmful air pollution, which is linked to asthma,
It's a lot worse than that,
heart attacks, and even premature death. The day we filmed, Stargate was only operating one of the 10 turbines that it has on site, but it eventually plans to have more than 50 of these turbines powering its operations here, something OG was unaware of until we informed her.
Literally a stone throw away from her home.
I didn't know about their expansion plan and what that looks like for our home. If we're already dealing with the noise difficulty with only 10 turbines that they have right now, I can only imagine how much more difficult it's going to be like. I feel trapped. We invest in our home, we serve our country, and we weren't even included in this process. We weren't given any time to understand what this impact was going to be on us. The long-term ramifications, we weren't given time to try to leave.
Now they can't sell their home, by the way, Energy. You want to know why? I'll give you a hint. Unless you want to buy that home. You seem to not care. There's a cheap home for you, Energy. The market dictates it.
So how do I feel?
Energy, you barely know math, computer science, and physics. Relax. Relax. Okay.
It's absolutely shocking to see that invisible pollution made visible like this. This is incredible. So how can you tell if a facility like this is following the law?
Well, we're going to take these images to a series of...
Well, they're supposed to be regulated, and they're kind of not in this regard. But yeah, Energy,
experts to really
would you want to live next to this thing? I want to describe to you how close this is, okay? Look how close the stacks are to her home. Like, when you see the shot behind her home. Where is it? Should be... Come on.
Flying everywhere. Then, like, start my
to get a look door to Stargate.
Look how close these are. 50. Like, I feel like we could do this better, right? Like, maybe when you go get the permit, you're not allowed to be within a fucking, a pro quarterback's fucking football throw Hail Mary when you put jet turbines, 50 of them together. I don't know.
We launched the thermal drone from her property to get a look at what's really going on.
My husband and
Wonderful.
Now, pretty regularly, I would say constantly, about the health of
Almost ready. Dude, Brandon Gill. Here we go.
Constitutional rights and
Here we go. This is what
exposing institutional.
This is what a lot of the government looks like right now.
Abuses will come to order. Welcome, everybody. Thank you all for being here. Without objection, the chair may declare recess at any time. I now recognize myself for the purpose of making an opening statement. The rule of law and equal access to justice for Americans are bedrock principles enshrined in the Constitution. Access to our legal system and the rights and freedoms we enjoy as Americans as a result of the rule of law are fundamental components of the success of our nation as we celebrate the 250th
You're wondering why I keep fucking touching my mouth? That's why.
50th anniversary.
It's like I'm trying to not think about it.
The Declaration of Independence. So it should concern all Americans that these principles are eroded by discriminatory DEI practices, and concern them even more that these DEI policies have been promoted by attorneys with the legal training to know better.
This is why I don't expect it to matter after the midterms.
The ABA
There's still too many of these people.
As an institution plays an outsized role in American law and the legal profession. Ever since it was founded in 1878, the ABA has grown to be the entity that sets the accreditation standards for American law schools. Since 1952, the ABA has been recognized by the federal government as the only law school accreditor. Those state Supreme Courts have the power to regulate the conduct of legal professionals within those states. Many states also recognize the ABA as the accreditor for their law schools. Furthermore, the ABA evaluates judicial nominees, promulgates model rules of professional conduct for attorneys, and speaks for many people as a voice for attorneys in the United States. What is the ABA?
Fucking awful, bro. I don't have any pain right now. It's more like uncomfortability. And if I know anything, though, give it time. It will fucking bring you to your knees.
Get done with this impressive accumulation
It'll come.
of power and prestige. Unfortunately, it appears that the ABA, ideologically captured by radical leftists, has continuously pursued discriminatory DEI practices. This included requiring law schools to consider race as a factor for admissions and to evaluate racial discrimination over a merit in order to diversify the profession. This wasn't done in secret. The ABA published an accreditation standard to enforce it. That's Standard 206. And the implementing guidance for Standard 206 says that even if those DEI practices are illegal under a constitutional provision or statute, that illegality.
Well, we're using serif font right now. Motherfuckers, use a non-serif font. You suck. No, I want to know what it is. Oh my god. Just give me the standard. Diversity and inclusion. It's literally called that. Interesting. Nope. All right. Let's get woke, dude. Let's get woke. Diversity and inclusion suspended until 8/31/25. Huh? It's in serif. I just realized. That's why I can't read it. Serif is for paper, not online. Fuck you, dude. I hate this. I hate everything. Fucking hate everything. Killing me. What is this? Still can't read it. This is not what I want, though. Is it in place or not? Do I have to like put 2026 in? Standard 206 final approved memo. Fucking energy, bro. Interesting. Is it in place or not? Fuck me, dude. We literally are boring. Is it? I just want to know if it's in place, man. Fucking hell, dude. Where's the line that says, yes, 206 is not in effect? I'm not reading. Fuck you. I'm not reading this. Anyways, what is it? Requirement of constitutional provision or statute that purports to prohibit consideration of gender, race, ethnicity, or national origin in admissions or employment decisions is not a justification for schools' noncompliance. Okay. This is so vague. I mean, it sounds dumb when you read it in isolation like this, and I get it. This is what schools want anyway. I mean, how do I make this like extremely abrasive and just like get the point across? Imagine if you had a bunch of pasty white kids from Utah, in Atlanta Walmart as like upper management. Like, you don't want that, even if they can do the job. You want to know why? Because those dudes will get eaten alive. They're just a bunch of pasty white kids who are like, my Texas Instrument, you're kicking it, right? So you need diversity in this regard because it'll help you actually be the most profitable, at least if you own a company. You want people who can probably communicate and work in a team with Atlanta Walmart employees, not a bunch of pasty white kids. So you have to think about universities this way too. Universities don't want a bunch of 4.0 fucking or higher, whatever, extracurricular white kids from one location, because a school wants many things. They want influence from everything. The goal there, the incentive is literally as far wide as possible, and for good reason. When kids go to school, they actually value many different diverse cultures or everything at the school. Even if they don't say they do, they do. It also makes for better education because the reinforcement of what the school's institutions are teaching is continually checked by outside influence, just consistent perspectives that make it, realize that it's not correct all the time. There's a negative feedback loop associated with always agreeing, right? Especially in academic settings. So, diversity is kind of a good thing in most cases. I understand why that statute sounds a little dumb because it's more of like a virtue signaling appeal than it is what actually happens in practice. Like, companies use DEI, and that's just a fact, and they have forever. When I consulted for companies, there was never any such thing as like a DEI guy. There's no such thing. There is governmental, like, DEI authorities, but even then, they're pretty stretched thin. All they do is just make sure that there's no extremely obvious, protected identity issues happening, where, they go to like Best Buy, and they audit, and then they go, hey, how come this Best Buy doesn't have a single black person working in a neighborhood that's like 95% black? I don't know. Maybe there's a reason. Maybe it's just luck. I'm just going to take a look. And then, they find out that the dude who's hiring people is putting like black people suck on every one of the applications. And that's usually that's what they're able to look for. Okay. It's not normal though. All right. Most companies that I consulted for, they want diversity because that's how they make the most money. They want to know how to advertise to black people in a black neighborhood. They are not going to call in pasty white man to do that. Okay, they're not going to call in pasty Utah white kid, Mormon as fuck, to be like, hey, we need to sell our product more. I think we're missing a big revenue. It's been a while since I used fucking corporate lingo. A big revenue increase that we could have from these communities. They're predominantly black. Can you help us, Mr. Pasty White Utah Mormon kid, develop a strategy and campaign to do that? And that's never happened in all of history, okay? So companies naturally participate in DEI not because, out of the goodness of their hearts. They do it because it's actually just the way you stay most profitable and how you have internal operational cohesion. It functions better.
Is, quote, not a justification for a school's noncompliance with Standard 206, end quote. even after the Supreme Court held in 2023 that race-based admissions practices violate the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution.
That's not what the Supreme Court ruled on.
The ABA did not.
That's literally not what the ruling was.
Not voluntarily reverse course. Instead, it doubled down and told law schools it would continue to enforce its DEI standards in the accreditation process. Through Accreditation Standard 206 and Standard 303C, the ABA used its institutional power to bully law schools to also require mandatory DEI-related courses in addition to instituting race-based policies in admissions. As we heard from witnesses during our hearing on July 14th, discriminatory DEI policies, in addition to being illegal, standards to also require mandatory DEI-related courses in addition to instituting race-based policies.
What is a DEI-related course?
Require mandatory DEI-related courses.
No. Critical race theory is like a highly specific class by Harvard's first black professor or tenured professor. It's essentially like an extremely specific, it's supposed to be thought-provoking. It really is, honestly, by Dr. Bell. And then John Rawls is obviously someone who worked with him, so. They do, because a lot of the stuff that we hear in the United States, at least the culture war-wise, is done through these like moral panic machines that are through NGOs, and then they just see what sticks. But no one is learning critical race theory, even at the college level. That's not happening. It's like a graduate level course, and you can definitely try and learn it's not like it's difficult per se, but it's a critical course. Like it's not meant to even be polemic. It's not even meant to be one where Bell is just like, fucking black people were used. It goes into depth in how black people inadvertently become part of systemic racist systems themselves without even realizing it. Like, it's very in depth. Okay. And it just blows my mind when I hear anyone talk about that fucking acronym. It bothers me. I don't know what DEI related course is, though. That could actually just mean anything you want. That's probably why he kept it so open like that. A lot of law is really, representing everyone, so.
In addition to instituting race-based policies in admissions. As we heard from witnesses during our hearing on July 14th, discriminatory DEI policies, in addition to being illegal, seek to pit Americans against one another on account of their immutable characteristics, and at their core, fundamentally reject the American ideal of equal justice and of achieving success based on one's merit. The ABA, an organization made up of attorneys who should...
Yes, lawyers. Wow.
Know better.
Says who? Dude who blow dries his hair 65 minutes in the morning? What are you talking about?
Persisted in promoting DEI practices, even though
you know for a fact he does that, by the way. This dude literally 65 hours. 60 minutes, bro.
Based admissions, forced speech, and considering race and employment decisions clearly violate the law. Those practices violate federal civil rights statutes passed by Congress.
Sorry. What? They do? How?
Forced speech and considering race and employment decisions clearly violate the law.
Considering race in employment decisions is actually how you avoid the very problem of not considering and inevitably considering race. This is a Charlie Kirk tactic, man. where he says, I think we should all be colorblind. And then you have to sit there and go, Charlie, didn't you just like 5 minutes ago, ma'am, say that we're a social species and that we, are somewhat tribal and the Muslim Islamic people suck ass because our social tendencies and our tribalistic so what's going on there, man? Because there's definitely a contradiction there, right? Because in order to actually be colorblind, one must what? Lethe, this is your time to shine, baby. I'm going to make it interactive now. In order to actually be colorblind, what must you be? What must you be aware of? It's kind of like if I was going to give an analogous part of the human condition, okay? In order for someone to have control over their emotions, one must understand that they have emotions, okay? You can't just like act like anger is not a thing. This is the same thing. In order to be colorblind, you must recognize that you are not colorblind. That is a fact. You instantaneously, upon meeting anyone, will, what's the word I'm looking for? Imagine a perceived, not archetype, but there's another word for it. I think it starts with an S. It's like a placeholder of someone. And you are not going to be able to like stop that from happening. You judge immediately. What's really important is not like, it is kind of important for instincts, but like what's really important is understanding why you feel some way, or like why, maybe the social ontology there is weird. And that's how you overcome these things.
Those practices violate federal civil rights statutes passed by Congress more than 60 years ago, in addition to violating the U.S. Constitution.
How?
It wasn't until President Trump issued executive orders and threatened the ABA's accreditation monopoly at the federal level that the ABA begrudgingly started to assess whether to get rid of those DEI requirements. Enforcement of Standard 206 on DEI and admissions is currently suspended. And although the ABA Standards Committee recently recommended that it be repealed, it received numerous comments still supporting keeping DEI in full force, and the full repeal has not yet taken effect.
That's because Trump is publicly threatening any institution that tries to not do what he wants. So, I mean, it's kind of fascist, right? That's what a fascist would do. I don't know what to tell you, man.
303C on DEI-related mandatory coursework remains in force. And although the Accreditation Committee is reviewing that standard as well, no final decision has been made. Meanwhile, the ABA devotes entire pages on its public-facing website to promoting DEI in the legal profession.
You mean like the DEI page? Because web pages and domains can have a lot of them. How many pages are committed? It can't be that many.
Leaving me, for one, skeptical that it has learned the error of its ways and will make a clean break from its racist DEI policy.
Classic. To actually racist is the idea of trying to not be racist.
ABA President Binky even stated in
There's no way his name is Binky, bro. Hold up. We're going back.
February DEI policies. ABA President Binky.
One more time.
Even skeptical that it has learned the error of its ways and will make a clean break from its racist DEI policies. ABA President Binky even stated in February of this year when speaking to the ABA delegates.
There's no way the guy's name is Binky, bro. There's no way. Oh, it's Benkei. Okay. Energy. You are consuming all of the influence in my chat. No one's laughing with me. Stop asking people if they know statistics.
That, quote, "We will not abandon our commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion," end quote. Given this reality, it's no surprise that many states like Florida, Texas, Alabama.
Look, man. We got to protect the fact that you need to use your blow dryer for 60 minutes in the morning. If we didn't have this, you'd be coined gay and then ultimately thrown in the fire. So,
in Tennessee,
come on.
Are moving
Work
away
with me.
or considering moving away from the traditional monopoly in law school accreditations exercised by the ABA.
I mean, who else should do accreditation? Do you think it should be Congress? I'm not so sure about that. I think the institutions like the ABA, or at least the academic adjacent institutions, are pretty annoying in certain ways, and they're also very helpful. And this is most definitely one of them. We have some of the best lawyers in the country, and best doctors, and best psychologists, or sorry, in the world, because of things like this. So I can assure you, though, the last thing I would want is this dumb motherfucker to try and accredit anything. That would be the moment where I'm trying to be on the stand going like, the monopoly on accreditation here is not looking good. Okay?
Our purpose today is to examine the role and future of an institution like the ABA in law school accreditation and in the legal profession in our country. The harm that DEI has caused to the legal profession and to Americans who deserve equal access to justice.
That is DEI. You mean they should take the diverse population that is America and give them equity, so equal amount of inclusion to have justice. This dude literally just said DEI in a different phrase, a different way, not an acronym. There's no way.
And in the legal profession in our country. The harm that DEI has caused to the legal profession and to Americans who deserve equal
Americans, the diverse population,
access to
who deserve equity in their access to
justice,
which means they should be included in it. What are we doing? He literally just said DEI is harmful because I think all Americans deserve equity and inclusion in the justice system.
and competent representation from their legal professionals.
We're going to include now that they're entitled to competent legal representation. That's more than DEI, bro. That's actually concerning. That's a you problem, bro. Hire a better lawyer next time.
Is extensive. We must ensure a course of action that will restore merit and integrity to American law and the legal profession.
Is that when you force some radical competence that you disagree with onto lawyers entitled to everyone?
And with that, I yield to Ranking Member Simon for her opening statement.
Thank God, shut up.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to the witnesses and to the public who's joined us today for this conversation. You know, before the witnesses began.
Who else is here? Oh, God. That guy. Here we go, Jim Jordan. Here's another guy. This guy had to capitulate.
Destroyed Israel's fighting question. Who are the good?
Adopted by
Who are
our
the
VA takes
back on the state? Miss Bain.
Is Jim still talking? He's not, right? Okay, I was about to say.
With Chairman Jordan, I now recognize.
I think he is ridiculous.
Chairman Jordan for 5 minutes for the
Thank you. All right. This is what he does every day. I can't wait to act really emotional I practiced this for hours in the mirror before this, and I'm going to grandstand, a little bit of virtue signaling, act as if I've been betrayed at some point in this exchange. And I will not forget to remind everyone that Jack Smith legally requested my phone text messages and who I called because I literally talked to the goddamn president who was orchestrating a fucking insurrection and hopeful takeover of my fucking country, and act as if that's somehow, attacked or controlled my freedom personally. It's unconstitutional, even though it's like very obviously a basic part of an investigation where you're trying to understand, which Jack Smith clearly said that he would have completely convicted Trump if we're given the opportunity, which totally makes sense because Volume 2 is not being released, and all the things that you would expect the government not to care about if there was no case would be released. Instead, we get Hunter Biden's cock. And Jim Jordan is, I don't know, that's all I got for him.
Mr. Chairman.
He's definitely going to bring up Jack Smith, though.
Ms. Banky, a press statement, November 30th, 2023. Headline reads, American Bar Association withdraws 2 statements on Israel-Hamas war. Why did the ABA withdraw those statements?
Congressman, I am the president and became the president last August. The process for either making statements or withdrawing statements, those particular statements happened outside of my time in presidency.
I understand that, but why did you do it? You're the president of the same association that withdrew the statements. You know why they did it?
Huh?
Each year, when the ABA takes positions, they do so based on policy that has been adopted by
Who are the good guys in the Israel-Hamas war?
This one's starting to look like Syria, man. And if anyone here understands what I mean by that, what I mean by that is there is no good guys anymore.
Or Miss Banky.
Imagine still acting like you can claim the moral high ground, like Jim Jordan here, when every fucking day I have to somehow try and defend Israel as a country, and immediately following someone can tell me, yeah, but Israel did shoot a fucking baby in the face seemingly for like no reason, or at least it was completely preventable, like just this morning. And then 4,000 people have died in Lebanon, hundreds of thousands are displaced. We don't even know how many are dead in Gaza, I think, right? We have to wait until the rubble is removed. Who knows? And then still be like, but I'm fighting for the moral good guys. Literally, the Iraqi army, when they took back Mosul from ISIS, killed less civilians they're not a very, strategically advanced or operationally advanced army. They were just trained by us a little bit, but Iraq was not prepared for that. All I'm going to say. And they somehow killed less fucking civilians. I don't understand how it's possible for a country that can hit like a fucking, a dartboard. If I just went to the bar later tonight and tried to play darts and I had to hit a number, like Israel could hit that with like a nuclear weapon, and I'm supposed to believe that they have to kill every fucking stupid baby. Not stupid baby, but you know what I mean. Like, shut up.
When we adopt policy.
No, that wasn't my question. I just asked you a new question. Who are the good guys in the Israel-Hamas war?
I have nothing to add other than we adopted policy.
Simple question. Israel's our ally, one of our best friends. They were attacked on October.
Can your best friend do something awful? If your best friend did something awful, would you be okay with that? If you found out that your best friend murdered someone, is an argument that really makes sense to go, I really like him though. Or like you find out that he raped someone. Is your argument, but like for me, obviously I can't fucking be okay with that. But Jim Jordan here, they're our best friends. Are you kidding me? We have to defend them, even though they're a massive piece of shit.
October 7th, one of these statements that was withdrawn by the ABA came out on October 9th, 2 days after women and children were killed and raped and taken hostage, villages destroyed.
That's fucking hilarious. And later news, flat cameras nowhere to be found across America.
Israel's fighting a terrorist organization. I'm asking you a simple question. Who are the good guys, Israel or the terrorist organization?
Dude, I swear to God, I'd be like, Jim, Ben-Gvir is not a good guy. Ben-Gvir quite literally was part of the Kahana. Ben-Gvir would probably eliminate you, Jim Jordan, not because you're, a Christian pasty white ass motherfucker, but because you're actually just really annoying.
The ABA adopted policy, and when the ABA adopts policy, then statements are issued, and those are the decisions that
I'm
are
not
made
asking
by
about the statements right now. Forget the statements for a second. I'm asking you a simple question. Who do you want to win, Israel or the terrorist organization?
I have nothing further to add. My personal opinion is not relevant. I am here as the president of the American.
Yeah, this is a very interesting line of questioning. And Jim Jordan is going to act very, very begrieved by this. You know what I mean? He's going to take this personally, like I said, and then bring up Jack Smith.
Bar Association.
You took statements down, statements that were issued 2 days after Israel was attacked. The statements were taken down because they were deeply flawed, because they suggested Israel was guilty of war crimes. That was ridiculous, and you took those statements down. Now I'm asking you, as the head of the Bar Association.
I mean, is this statement ridiculous? Factually, doesn't Israel have, like, the leaders of Israel have a few criminal, court orders on them, or warrants for them right now? How is that factually not true?
Who are the good guys in this conflict? Our friend and ally Israel, or the terrorist organization Hamas?
So, once again, let's just say yes to this question too, and then immediately go, that's fine, Israel's an ally. But I just want to be clear. Is every Palestinian a part of the terrorist organization Hamas? Obviously, he might answer, no, they're not, because that's the only one you can do. And then immediately you probably need to ask him, well, why are they killing so many innocent Palestinians if they're not a part of Hamas? And if he says something like, it's necessary, then I think the game's over then.
This is not a trick question. It's actually a simple question.
I agree.
I have nothing further to add.
You won't answer. Third sentence of your written testimony, you said that the American Bar Association is a nonpartisan organization. Is that really true?
Yes, sir, it is.
Yes,
Really?
it is actually, yeah.
Do you take any partisan positions as the American Bar Association?
The ABA takes position when our House of
The
Delegates...
association opposes any law that restricts abortion. This came out after the Dobbs decision. That's pretty partisan. The American Bar Association opposes detention of individuals who are here illegally. Any migrants who break our immigration laws, you oppose detention. Those sound pretty partisan positions to me. Would you agree?
The ABA takes positions by our House of Delegates, which is made up of 600 lawyers from across the country. When we take positions, we do so based on the information that we believe is...
How about men and women's sports? Do you have a position on that?
I don't...
Fuck. Dude, should have thought of that. Man.
have a list of all of our...
What about the war on Christmas?
I'll read from the American Bar Association, adopted by the House of Delegates, August 9th, 2021 resolution. The American Bar Association opposes any federal, state, local, territorial, tribal regulation or policy that prohibits transgender students from participating in athletics in accordance with their gender identity. Sounds like...
Yes, or other words. Here, let me break it down for you, Jim. Kid who happens to be trans, wants to play sport. Oh, okay. I mean, they are like still a human, so they probably want to do sports if they like doing them. That would make sense to me. I don't really understand why being trans for some reason makes it like, wait, I do, because he has no idea what he's talking about. He's deeply misled or misaligned and morally bankrupt. But just think about this, okay? If you're a 14-year-old who feels like you're the wrong sex or gender, I don't understand it, but I do understand it in a biological way. That's about as far as I can go. I'm straight. But That doesn't mean they can't like baseball or fucking play football or fucking run track. I ran track. If a trans kid ran in a race, they got an asterisk next to their name. No one gave a fuck. No one's losing a scholarship. Your little kid sucks. Okay? That's what happens. If your kid loses to a trans person, then your kid just sucked. Okay? That's it. That's all it is.
Like you're for men and women.
Sally is not good at sports. Okay?
Sports to me.
Our House of Delegates adopted a resolution based on
Stupid grievance shit that fucking, parents do with trans sports when it comes to fucking high school sports is like, I literally ran for a year and I fucking destroyed all of your fucking kids. Okay? It's not because I'm being cocky. It's because it's luck. I'm just really athletic. And the truth is that your kid didn't lose to a trans person. They suck. Okay? They just aren't good enough.
the discussion and debate of our 600
So
member
annoying,
board
bro.
of, our House of Delegates.
I've never heard of a nonpartisan organization that's for unrestricted abortion, no detention for people who break our immigration law, and who want men and women's sports. I've never heard of a nonpartisan organization adopt those positions.
What about the wrestling organization? You do know, like, I wonder if he knows that women and men compete in wrestling.
You still say you're nonpartisan?
I do.
What about chess?
Wow, that's amazing. Nonpartisan and won't tell us who you want to win the war, our ally or a terrorist organization. Mr. Smith, the marketplace has a way of speaking. How many lawyers do we have in the United States of America?
Fuck, I don't know. 100,000, like hundreds of thousands? Maybe like 270?
Several million.
Oh
Several
my
million. Do you
Jesus.
know how many are in the American Bar Association of? I think it's like 1.5 million lawyers in the country. Some
No, he's not.
people might think that's too many. I don't know that that is or isn't, but 1.5.
I hate his candor too because he acts permanently victimized. He just kind of reminds me of a dude who's like, it's his last chance at the edge of the bar, and it's clearly not working, and he just kind of instead just does this, turns aside and just thinks that this is, yeah, well, you know what, girl, you're a slut anyway.
Million, I think.
And you're like ears reach away and your brain just goes like this, just like, oh my God, bro. Get it together.
How many do you know are in the Bar Association?
Members of the ABA, I don't know that number off the top.
Like 200 and some thousand. So most lawyers say, I don't want to join this nonpartisan organization. You think maybe it has something to do with their...
Wait, did he just like take the number of lawyers that aren't in the Bar Association directly and just act like that means he could make that claim?
But 1.5 million, I think. How many do you know are in the Bar Association?
Members of the ABA, I don't know that number off the top.
Like 200 and some thousand. So most lawyers say, I don't want to join this.
He did. He literally just went, I'm going to minus this from the total amount of lawyers and just act like that somehow is probative to the claim that most lawyers just simply don't want to be a part of the association.
Nonpartisan organization.
What does that even entail, though? I mean, that's true. That might be true in like the most superficial sense, right? Like most lawyers don't want to be a part of the organization. That doesn't mean they don't want the Bar Association, though. That doesn't mean they don't want the accreditation from the association. That doesn't mean a lot of things that he's probably going to pawn off right now.
You think maybe it has something to do with their partisanship, why they don't want to join?
Well,
Probably not.
I think that's the reason you're seeing state Supreme Courts moving
Oh, look at this Poindexter. He's the fucking token in chief.
away from having the ABA act as the gatekeeper for
The Supreme Court?
You think maybe it has something to do with their partisanship, why they don't want to join?
Well, I think that's the reason you're seeing state Supreme Courts moving away from having the ABA act as the gatekeeper for lawyers to be able to sit for their
Several states are doing that, right? Tennessee, Texas.
I wouldn't keep going, man. I wouldn't really call these states the the oases in which we actually get good lawyers from. Good lawyers come from somewhere else and go to Tennessee because there is a severe lack of people there. In fact, most of them still look at that and go, I don't know if it's worth being paid a lot of money in Tennessee because it fucking sucks ass there, so I'm just going to go somewhere else.
Texas, Florida saying, we don't want these guys who can't even tell us that they want our ally to win a war, who take all kinds of left-wing positions and then pretend to be nonpartisan. We don't want them doing the accreditation for our law schools in our respective state. Is that accurate?
Is that accurate? I don't know. I don't know. Is he just wrong, or seems to be doing accreditation in many of these law schools? I know Baylor's pretty good for law school. And I think University of Houston, but it might be swapped with Texas A&M. I can't remember.
Entities. We can spend some time maybe.
Okay, so a Zoom podcast meeting where 4 old dudes, one of them looks like he's about to actually have a heart attack on camera, in which it is so overexposed, my eyes are actually already blind, from the Federalist Society. We have a professor from Notre Dame, Northwestern. That's the evidence. That's it. When was this? January 15, 2026? I can't read this. It's too fucking bright. Jesus Christ, dude. It's only like 2 states, apparently. They didn't give a reason for the change? They didn't give a reason? They haven't even defined the standards they want yet? Dude. Okay, Texas. I mean, have fun. I don't know what to tell you, man. It's a really weird way to go about it. They don't even have alternatives yet. They're just using the ABA accreditation and then saying they are not. Are you fucking kidding me? The court advised that it intends to provide stability, certainty, and flexibility to currently approved law schools by guaranteeing ongoing approval to schools that satisfy a set of what they like currently required by the ABA. And it doesn't have its own accreditation system yet. These people are fucking retarded. You know that? They're like actually fucking retarded.
Accurate?
Are they moving away from the ABA, Jim? It seems to me, after just taking 10 minutes to fucking read, that they're not actually moving away from the ABA. Then they just said that they intend to only comply, or they're still going to comply with the ABA standards. They just don't like the DEI one.
War, who take all kinds of left-wing positions and then
What do we
pretend
call that?
to be nonpartisan. We don't want them doing the accreditation for our law schools in our respective states.
But they are going to still do the accreditation. They're just going to say they aren't and intend to still comply with the standards set by the...
Is that accurate?
That is accurate.
It's accurate.
Yeah, and I think it's the marketplace speaking. The American people, American lawyers are saying no.
That's what he sounds like to me right now.
No, we're tired of this left-wing operation.
Oh my God.
Yes, I think that is accurate, Congressman.
I will yield back to the chairman.
I didn't get a Jack Smith problem.
Thank you, Chairman Jordan, and I now recognize Mr. Min for 5 minutes for the purpose.
Who else is on this? No, I don't like any of these people. They're all annoying. Yeah, I don't like any of these people. Fuck you, bro.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So Donald Trump campaigned for office, going out every day promising that he would lower costs for American families on day one. Then he takes office and he slaps tariffs on and off and on and off nearly every product that we import. Americans are now paying for it. Based on an analysis from the Congressional Budget Office and the Treasury Department's own numbers, Trump's tariffs are cost families an average of $1,700. And that was before his illegal...
The numbers on this are going to be really difficult to factor in, by the way, but I imagine it's not cheaper.
War in Iran pushed prices even higher. So Ambassador Greer, over a year ago, you sat in this very room, and my Democratic colleagues and I asked you about Trump's chaotic across-the-board tariffs and said they will drive up prices. And you said, no, we can have tariffs.
And what is it? And come Cy Slut? Is that
and lower prices. Well, now we have the receipts. So let's just clear this one up. Ambassador Greer, have Trump's tariffs increased prices for American families?
Actually, Warren, I think Trump's tariffs are ushering in the golden age. And
Senator, no, core inflation fell to 2.6%.
What, last month alone? Also not true. I already showed why this is not true. And I knew Trump's fucking ass would try to pawn this off. Inflation did fall last month. You know who. But I want people to look at this because I genuinely is really important here. Does this look like it fell? We have unadjusted, 12-month ended June 2026 from June 2025. All items 3.5. That's up. Last month it fell 0.4. Where is he getting core inflation from? Well, for core inflation, you have to minus certain things from the basket. And suspiciously, the reason it's going to look a little bit better is because energy, technically, for the 1 month that few weeks that gasoline was able to pass through the strait, it affected the basket here for negative 9.7. But it did go up what looks to be a fucking, mistake. 30.7 in March and 11 so naturally any amount of price fall for gasoline or just energy in general besides electricity and utilities, fuel piped, is going to be somewhat large. And let's see how he gets away with this one though. Using core inflation in this regard is extremely misleading. So yeah.
Year on year. Much better than in January 2025.
So you're saying that
year on year, he says it fell? That's just factually incorrect. I'm so confused right now, bro. It fell in June. The core inflation rate fell in June alone. But core inflation, again, is a very specific type of basket. Okay? It's really important to know that core inflation is purposely being used here because it's somewhat misleading. It means food and energy are taken out of the equation. Now, right off the bat, I hope people understand that what are the two largest things in an inflationary basket that the average American would care about? Well, it probably would be the two number one things on the top of the chart, maybe. I don't know. Those are kind of important. But by all means, continue to tell us about inflation for things that don't include the most inflationary or pressured items for the average family. That'd be great.
what the Congressional Budget Office and the Treasury Department's own numbers, that families are paying an average of $1,700 more. Are you saying your own Treasury Department and your own Congressional Budget Office just don't know what they're talking about?
Well, I'm interested in seeing what Treasury numbers you're talking about. No one's given them to me to look at, so I want to verify those.
Actually, they've been out there in public now for at least the last 6 months. They've been widely distributed because families are paying more.
It's kind of bothering me. Warren's not an economist. She's like a fucking extremely premier constitutional lawyer, if I'm not mistaken. And she knows finance, but it kind of bothers me that she didn't just go, what does core inflation include again?
And there's no serious economist around the country. There's no serious person who looks at those numbers and thinks that families are doing better. Trump's tariffs mean that families have paid, on average, $1,700 last year. And now the United States Supreme Court has said that those tariffs were illegal and that the Trump administration has to give people their money back. So far, the administration has been slow walking. Ambassador Greer, are American consumers going to get any refunds on the tariffs that were illegally collected from them?
So, Senator, when the court ruled on this, they did exactly what the Democratic attorney generals who sued asked to do, which was to give money back to the companies, foreign and domestic, that paid the tariffs.
Tariffs that were illegally collected from them?
So, Senator, when the court ruled on this, they did exactly what the Democratic attorney generals who sued asked to do, which was to give money back to the companies,
the Democrat Attorney General?
Foreign and domestic that paid the tariffs. That's what Democratic attorney generals asked to do. They didn't say give it to consumers.
So that's how
they said
I
give it to
understand.
companies.
Look,
So
I'm a
that's what we
lawyer.
have to do.
I understand
that's what we have to
how
do.
they got standing. But the question I'm asking the administration, are you going to get money back to the American people who paid more? What the data show is the American people picked up about 95% of the cost of those Trump tariffs.
Diabolical.
They paid an average of $1,700. And I just want to know if you even have the slightest effort, making even the slightest effort, to try to get some of that money back into the pockets of American families? Or does that just not matter to the Trump administration?
So what happened is the foreign and domestic importers, right, who are buying foreign goods, not goods from American workers, foreign goods made by foreign workers who had to pay. So what happened is the foreign and domestic importers, right?
You guys catch that? What does a foreign and domestic importer mean? Doesn't that mean domestic company that imports using foreign labor from their factory they built outside of this country?
Who are buying foreign goods, not goods from America.
Oh, but they're selling those goods back to us. They just have their, factory in some other country because they are allowed to leave after extracting wealth.
American workers, foreign goods made by foreign workers who had to pay a fee.
Are they really foreign goods? Didn't you just say in the beginning foreign and domestic importers? Do we buy Chinese goods? Not often. We honestly are able to buy widgets and stuff like that, but mainly we actually don't have the ability to buy Chinese goods most of the time. Okay? This is changing, but we can't buy like metal from China. There's countervailance on all these things. You can't buy directly a lot of product from China. So this is wildly disingenuous.
On those foreign goods, those foreign importers' records, domestic importers' records, they can file, they had to pay the tariff.
You mean the domestic company that is importing a product that they made in a factory outside of the country, but they are still a U.S. company.
They can get the tariff back.
So,
manufacturing workers' wages have gone up $2,600.
Huh? That's just not true at all.
Way beyond what the Biden budget lab at Yale has calculated.
That's just not giving me a lot of confidence in what you just said, Mr. Greer.
What we know is that thousands of factory workers have lost their jobs.
They
that
have.
means their incomes have gone to zero. But I take it what you're saying, I think I've got your answer here, and that is the Trump administration just doesn't care, isn't even lifting a finger to try to get one nickel of the money that was collected from consumers back into the pockets of the consumers. And that certainly is where they are right now. Instead, what you've been doing is searching for other ways to see if you can take money out of the pockets of consumers with tariffs. And just this week, you slapped on
Canada. For alcohol, dairy, and automobiles, right? This is a fun game.
New tariffs using an obscure law from the 1930s, plus using something called Section 301. But here's my question. Ambassador Greer, if the Supreme Court strikes down your next round of tariffs, do you have a plan in place for how to return the money that American consumers pay under those tariffs, how to return that money directly to the families who pay? You can do this now. Put a plan in place. Do you have a plan in place?
Customs currently has a website to return any tariffs to the foreign importers' records or domestic importers who paid them.
Said it again. Domestic importers.
about
And they'll
foreign
continue to do
importers.
that.
I'm asking about American families, the people you're supposed to be working for. Do you have any plan, if this next round of tariffs are struck down, for how you're going to get the money that is collected from American consumers back into their pockets?
The normal way that customs law worked is that the importer of record, if they pay a tariff, it's
I
overruled,
take
they
that.
give it back.
I
There's
take
never
that as
been
a
any.
no. Look, I believe that tariffs can be used strategically, quite valuably, but what the Trump administration is doing is picking the pockets of American consumers, and after Donald Trump promised he would lower costs on day one, he puts in place tariffs that have done nothing but raise prices.
I don't think she was as aggressive as she should have been. Oh.
Mayor recognizes the ranking member.
I watched all of Russell Vaw's one too. That was very fun. Dude, you guys know who this is?
Thank you, Mr. Leader.
Try not to laugh. It's No Riz Harry Potter. Oh, wait. There it is. Fuck. No Riz Harry Potter, everyone.
And,
Or better yet, I share porn with my son in 4K. All the time.
good morning, everybody. We have a lot on our plate this week. It's going to be a
Also, I'm underwater because the White House has zero clue how to fucking do audio, bro.
very important week for the
Why? Dude, what is happening? How do I listen to this?
country and for House Republicans. I spend a lot of time on the road when we're not in session. I'm out campaigning in the swing districts and with our candidates and our incumbents all across the country.
Sounds like a microphone from the 40s. You know, like
Last 2 weeks, I've been from California to New York, Iowa, Nebraska, many points in between.
Hogwarts.
And everywhere we go, the American people are seeing and understanding, and they're articulated in their own way, the stark contrast between the two sides. As we say all the time, this is not your father's Democratic Party. The chasm between the two sides and their visions for America and what we believe, our principles, our priorities, our platforms, has never been more divergent than it is right now. As I've said here many times, and I say across the country, you know, a few decades ago, Republicans and Democrats in Congress are arguing over marginal tax rates and shades of regulation. Now we are quite literally in a contest to determine whether we're going to maintain our status as the world's great superpower, the greatest nation in the history of the world, as a constitutional republic, or we're going to tear that down to the foundation like the communist Democrats want to do and go down this dark road of Marxism. Not on our watch. We're not going to do that. And I am very confident. In fact, I'm very enthusiastic about the upcoming midterm election because I believe that people are beginning to see this. And it is going to motivate voter turnout for true Americans who love their country and want to keep it. We're in the process of making it better every single day. And you're going to see that on display this week on the floor. We said this is a contrast. We had been saying for months, you've heard me say, a contrast between common sense and crazy in the midterm. And now it's common sense versus communism. This is real. So this week on the floor, let me talk to you about a few things that we're going to have has been mentioned by the leader. This week, House Republicans are going to take an important step to restore Americans' faith and trust in Congress and in American elections with the Stop Insider Trading Act. As Leader Scalise noted, this is something the American people have been very interested in for a long, long time. We have finally cobbled together what we believe is the vote coalition to make that happen. I want to commend the good work of the House Administration Committee and Chairman Brian Stile for their quarterbacking of this collaborative effort, and they've drafted a bill that I think is really, really well done. Too often, Americans struggling to make ends meet have watched as lawmakers have entered office to leave as multimillionaires. There's a handful of
Really?
glaring examples. A couple of those people are still serving, notably on the Democrat side. The Stop Trump Insider Trading Act does exactly what it says. It bans members of Congress from purchasing individual stocks from publicly traded companies, and it helps prevent public officials from profiting from inside information.
Okay. Is he real right now? Like, right after this fucking, stupid presentation with No Res Harry Potter, he's going to fucking Donald Trump's literal dick or something.
It's a very logical.
This, we're like, how do you even have this level of either confidence in the fact that you think no one will see this, or recognize this, or you're so unaware but live in this duality of equally being as stupid as you are unaware.
The bill also includes a very common sense and popular provision to ensure that voters must show a valid ID when they go to
Why are we connecting that to that? Because we're the House Republicans.
the polls.
Can an ID prove citizenship? Not unless it's in one of the 5 states that live next to Canada or next to Canada. Okay, so this is pointless, right? Okay, can we move on?
The vote. Virtually all Republicans support that common sense measure, and over 70% of Democrats do, as acknowledged most recently by Chuck Schumer himself.
I'm just going to be very honest here. I don't really care what the poll is on this. I do think that this is one of those bills or concepts that we think is simple and maybe common sense. I love when people use this phrase because immediately all I think of is, wow, you're a fucking retard. Because most things in life that you need to care about are not common sense. That's just a fact. You need to go deeper than the common senses, or else you'd end up being like the fucking retards that we're talking about. Okay? So people think that voting and the mechanisms to vote are all just transposable. You'll hear Canada. Canada has voter ID and it's fine. And then I have to remind them that's a different fucking country, and they essentially like make sure and mandate that everyone can get this ID. There's no reason to think that that's what's going to happen here. And second, we don't have the mechanism to register that way in place. So you can't just make a bill to implement voter ID without the underlying mechanism needing to be there. Voting systems and voting mechanisms don't just transpose between countries like you're playing a game of fucking, like, I don't know, like it's Play-Doh and you're just building a fucking stupid 4-year-old thing. Okay? You need to think about your own system, okay? And as of right now, IDs don't even prove citizenship. So this means nothing. Means literally nothing. Fucking nothing. If someone really wanted to fucking, fake a vote, they'd just get a fake ID if they're that much of a weirdo, and they'd still get caught. They'd probably still get caught. I'm sorry. Be a good way to fucking ruin your life. Have 15 years in prison.
Provision to ensure that voters must show a valid ID when they go to the polls to vote. Virtually all Republicans support that common sense measure.
Once again, this means nothing to me. Unfortunately, most people are pretty stupid when it comes to this. Sorry.
And over 70% of Democrats do, as acknowledged most recently by Chuck Schumer himself. And yet, watch, I bet you, not a single Democrat in the House or Senate will support these measures.
Probably because you're tying the continuing resolution, which you shouldn't be doing, to a stupid, purposely built SAVE Act that has nothing to do with election security, and it's transparently so. I mean, where's the implementation of voter ID authorizing citizenship? Shouldn't that be a part of this? Where is the package to build infrastructure to actually get everyone the ID? Why are you trying to mandate something that doesn't even prove citizenship? Doesn't even allow you to register to vote in the first place. It means nothing. It's about as valuable as a school community college ID. That's literally how valuable it is, dude.
Democrats only talk about corruption. Republicans are actually delivering real solutions to actually restore the public's faith in our institutions, because we believe in this country. We believe in our matchless Constitution that is the envy of everybody around the world.
Dude, he's literally jerking himself off right now. Fucking tell your son when you're about to watch porn or jerk off in front of me, man. I'm sure he wants to see. This dude literally has his phone mirrored with this kid, by the way, so that he can watch his kid's phone and his dad can watch him, or sorry, his kid can watch his phone. They literally have carbon copies of each other's phones. Fucking weird.
And we believe on the 250th anniversary now is a very important time to stand on that. Later today, House Republicans are going to move closer to responsibly funding the government as well. We're going to pass a totally clean, very simple, continuing resolution.
What does that say? Can anyone read that? Still got a few more months to go, eh?
Time to stand on that. Later today, House Republicans are going to move closer to responsibly funding the government as well. We're going to pass.
He did say move closer. By $1?
A totally clean, very simple, continuing resolution that will fund the government through November. The CR is as clean as they come. There are no poison
I don't even know what that means. What does clean mean? What does that mean?
bills. There's no hidden maneuvers. There's nothing.
Except you are tying it to the SAVE Act, a separate bill that sucks ass and has nothing to do with the CR.
Nothing other than a simple extension of current funding levels.
And requiring a voter ID, which we've never done and don't have the infrastructure to do, and it doesn't even do what we think it's doing or what we are saying it's going to do, except probably eliminate people's real votes. Whether you like the votes or not, I think that one's clear, but there's nothing in this that isn't hidden and very fucking weird.
Now, this is going to be one to watch. Unfortunately,
I don't even. Why would you say that about government too?
given the Democrats have already forced the two longest government shutdowns in American history in this Congress, one of them for.
This is more of an argument against yours truly.
78 days. They've already demonstrated they don't care what kind of pain they inflict.
You, Mike Johnson, literally came out in that 78 days, and you continued it after the Democrats voted to open the government. You continued it yourself in order to stop the Jeffrey Epstein shit from happening. People don't forget, man. Like, super bad. I remember when you pissed your pants, okay? When you, waited 2 months, I think? Almost 3 months to swear in a sitting House of Representative member because she was the final vote to pass the Epstein Act.
On the American people.
Yeah, absolutely. It would be. There's nothing wrong with requiring voter IDs if the infrastructure and the your voting system allows for it, but that's not what's happening whenever someone talks about voter ID in this country. They might be thinking that, Molotov. A lot of people in this country think that's what is happening here, but that is not what is happening. Okay? Again, voter ID, proof citizenship. What do you need to vote? Right? You need proof of citizenship. So what the fuck is the point? Okay? When IDs don't even do that. Even the real ID does not. Wow. No. IDs do not prove citizenship. Oops. So if you have an ID, you still can't even vote. Weird how that works. In fact, you need to provide proof of citizenship to get the ID when you register to vote at the exact same time. It's 5 states, and they're all next to Canada, and that's for obvious reasons. It's because going back and forth over the border is just not really fun unless you have the ability to do that.
They do this to try to score political points. I think they're making the wrong calculation here. Republicans are under no illusions about Democrats' intentions ahead of a very consequential midterm election. Today's Democrat Party, I think they have a very false impression. They think that they can score political points by trying to inflict pain. It's not going to work. They've shown there's nothing they love more than a government shutdown. As tens of millions of Americans head to the polls in November. But this clean CR is an opportunity for both.
I'm sorry. Are we in a shutdown right now? What is he talking about?
Sides. So they have an opportunity to demonstrate they're committed to responsibly funding the government through November.
Dude, responsibly funding the government has nothing. You have no syllable similar with that fucking phrase, dude. No part of your very existence. Harry Potter. Okay, who's the lying motherfucker in Harry Potter? I'm about to change him to Malfoy, dude.
Again, I bet you they don't help us on it. If the Democrats can't support this basic principle, then they are.
A lot of people. A lot of the states like Michigan, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, they have massive amounts of international business.
Alone.
Alcohol is big. Not right now, because Trump tariffs. And Canada is tariffing our alcohol. Because if you try to buy alcohol in Canada, you will quickly be reminded that Canada's like, fuck you. You're expensive if you're an alcoholic.
Are going to own the chaos that ensues if the government shuts down after September 30th. On reconciliation this week, of course, we're going to move the ball forward on Reconciliation 3.0. We pass our budget resolution. That's what we'll do, send it to the Senate. As a reminder, this legislative vehicle is our best shot at accomplishing two key objectives of the people of this country. These are very popular and important and necessary objectives. Number one, secure American elections by passing the Save America Act into law. As much of that as possible. That's the objective. Number two.
Every time as well, they say this without any idea that if the elections are so, insecure, then doesn't that throw Donald Trump's win into question? It was broccoli, chicken, and rice. Broccoli, chicken, and rice.
Two, protect and strengthen our homeland.
Please help. All I eat is chicken. Send help.
How do we do that? We'll be
Send
providing
help.
supplemental funding in line with the administration's request to support our national defense and our farmers. Why is this necessary? Because Democrats have...
There's this video, okay? I don't even want to listen to this guy anymore. He's so fucking annoying.
To the Senate.
What?
As a reminder, and refused to work...
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Dude, where is it? There's a video of like this bodybuilder, I can't remember his name. And he's like, I wake up and I eat chicken. And then about noon, I eat more chicken. And then I eat chicken again after that. Please send help. It's been burned in my memory for so long.
Work with Republicans.
Please help.
Without objection, the chair is authorized to declare recesses.
Fourth, the federal at our disposal.
All right. What do we got here? Is this the House? Oh, it is the House. Okay, I'm like, I don't know any of these
Make the
people.
right decisions about how to promulgate them into the commercial environment. So to me, having the best test ranges possible and creating environments where Americans can go test their technologies, we have to do as much as.
What has become popularized as the manosphere define their message around anti-feminism. Women are ruining culture and society.
Well, feminism is ruining culture and society. You're kind of look-smaxed right now for your age group. Like,
thank you.
There's many.
Beans. Beans for sure. Nuts. Eggs. Like lentil beans, if I'm mistaken. Fish. Fish pretty good. I don't know anyone who says things like that in real life. You're kind of Luke-smaxing
men in the manosphere that are spreading a 100% positive message. I think we should have 100 more Andrew Tates.
Has feminism
100% positive message.
held men back, or has the manosphere distorted?
Is that the manosphere is $1 billion business that profits off keeping men angry and insecure.
If you would like to debate,
that's a good prompt. This one would be hard, right? This one would be hard, guys. If you're not prepared for it, right? Which these people probably are kind of prepared. That's because walnuts take a lot of water, like an absurd amount of water. We're talking like 3 gallons of water per walnut, right? It's something crazy. Where is it? 1 walnut equals 5 gallons. That's why it's expensive.
Please get to the chair in 3, 2, 1.
Hey, it's
Gnarly.
What's up, man?
Jake.
Nice to meet you.
So I think it's important to ask first, what do you mean by the manosphere?
I would say it is the subculture of men's dating and life advice that is particularly identifiable by its sexist and traditional beliefs.
Yeah, I mean, feels a little bit No True Scotsman-y if you define the category as being sexist.
Well, he didn't say menonism, did he?
Then from the category moving out from there, we're going to have a problem. Because I'm not a sexist. And so if you want to say
That's like your opinion, man.
that, like, if you're in the manosphere, that means you're sexist, or no true member of the manosphere isn't sexist. Like,
Wait, is that really what he said, though? I didn't think he was meaning the no true Scotsman like that. But he thinks that what he just said is that no member of the manosphere is not a sexist? Wasn't he talking about the manosphere in general? And he said typically, he even hedged, a typically identified by its sexist and traditional beliefs, right? This is what happens when you read a list of fallacies and you forget that you might need to understand how you use them or how people use them.
like that's not a productive.
So how do you define it?
I think the manosphere are people who focus heavily on men's issues and are trying to instruct men on how to lead better lives, who are
They're giving free gender affirming care. That's what they're doing, Kay.
Trying to fulfill a role that maybe a father should have or maybe can't because of a variety of societal environments. And they might do that well, they might do that poorly. And I think the discussion is about how well the sort of figures that are gaining popularity are doing that.
Okay. Try not to actually do the work for him this time. Stop talking.
Right.
And maybe some of them might
He's
be
like,
sexist
right.
and some of them might be telling true things. And there's kind of a...
Keep going, kid. You're so right.
a variety of mixed bags on this. But before I move on, does that seem like a reasonable starting
he realized
point for what the manosphere is?
That would be a broader definition than I would give to it.
Well, yeah, you defined it as sexist, and so obviously
well,
mine's
yes.
much broader. Like,
yes.
I'm not even in your definition, so that's not.
And I am in your definition.
Right.
So I would say what has become popularized as the manosphere, and maybe my reading is off on this, but it's stuff like the Tate brothers, Myron Gaines, Harrison Sullivan, all the guys featured in the recent documentary that came out, like that kind of brand and flavor of men's advice. And I'll say this too. So back when I was in this industry, and I was giving men advice professionally, there was a pretty clear delineation between the guys who were just genuinely like, hey, let me help you try to get a date. Like, or let me help you try to make.
It's tough out there.
Yeah, like help you get a raise at work, right?
Yeah, obviously.
And there
Go
was
to
a
the
whole.
gym, get stronger.
I guess so.
There's a whole.
I don't know why.
Whole subculture of men who really very much define their message around anti.
I don't really understand how, the walking personification of like a fucking basic white girl going to like order a pumpkin spice latte at Starbucks is appealing, because that's what he is in man form. But he's literally just like, women suck. That's cool, right? It's just dumb.
Feminism, women are ruining culture and society.
Feminism is ruining culture and society. That doesn't mean all women are, but it does mean feminism is. And I think it's an issue to.
Feminism is ruining society. Okay, got him.
Conflate the idea of like, oh, women, women, versus the philosophy of feminism. Because you could have male feminists who I think are often more destructive for.
Okay, so the philosophy of feminism can be seen as the active acknowledgement of disparities between men and women. So just women's rights. Just when you see social ontological disparities, when you see disparities between men and women, specifically for women, that's the feminism part. The active process of acknowledging and correcting if necessary. What's the big deal?
For culture than female feminists are.
Right.
And you could have women who are not feminists. And so on both ends, I think that's a conflation. Not.
Okay. I feel like all women are kind of feminists, though. They just don't like the different styles and forms and archetypes of it.
To make.
Okay. So my claim specifically is about the men in this space who their primary message towards men is that of anger, that of selfishness, empowerment through intimidation.
This guy has a very interesting debate style. I'm very intrigued by this. I need to know, for everyone in my chat right now, could you describe to me if you think this is working by him? I'm just curious. Babe, you fucking forgot my straw, didn't you? Where is my straw? I don't really know if it's working. But I'm curious to see what other people think. I feel like his temperament and his ability to control or change is really good. I'm just curious to see how it's coming off to other people.
And domination of others.
I think there's a lot of different things there. I think there are a lot of things that you should be angry about.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean that you should be a victim. And I think
I wonder who gets to decide that one. If your girlfriend, you know, tries to get a job somewhere and God forbid, you know, she comes home with a denial letter or something, or that's not going to happen. But in a world where feminism doesn't exist, it could, where you go, hey, honey, how'd it go? Did you get the job? No. He said, fuck you, woman. And then I had to leave. And you're just like, yeah, you need to stop playing the victim. The fuck is wrong with you? But you're going to be married a very long time.
that just because a certain society has decided that the future is female, has decided to
no one serious in feminism, okay, like I consider myself a feminist only because the idea of patriarchy being overturned by matriarchy, I don't think is feminist. That wouldn't be advocating for equality, would it now?
instruct men from a very young age, has removed fathers from the home.
This would not be feminism, though. This would be anti-meninism. This would be putting blame on men and has nothing to do with feminism, which is about, you know, disparities between men and women. If you are advocating for punishment against men, then, my friend, this is a user error. It's no longer acknowledgement of a disparity and trying to have equality. It is something different.
Has used various incentive programs to encourage single motherhood rates.
Incentive programs like being fucking poor? Oh. And losing your husband or boyfriend because criminalization is massive in black communities? I didn't know there was a lot of incentive for that, man. Because it's really easy to say this. It's not so easy to say this with all of the right propositions or prepositions. Which is what Marte said. Black people think it's normatively okay to be an absentee father, which is him kind of saying that there's an incentive for black people to just not be fathers and black women to also not want black fathers because of government programs. Seriously, dude? Like, go fuck yourself.
Has made it such that boys are told from age 7 that the fundamental way to view history is a patriarchy.
It's the correct way. But I'd like the word fundamental there. I don't think this is true whatsoever. I mean, I don't think you really should look at history fundamentally as a patriarchy only because that's just what it was. It's like, it's not going to teach you anything. There's nothing fundamental about this. There's no tool here to, you know, there's no way to actually understand history through this lens. I mean, outside of a few specialized fields, but fundamental, what are you talking about?
And because other men used to be bad, which I think is even debatable a claim on its own, that you therefore are bad as well. And
I need to hear that part again.
Told from age 7 that the fundamental way to view history is a patriarchy. And because other men used to be bad, which I think is even debatable.
Yeah, I don't know what history class he was taking. Other men used to be bad. We did used to do, or we used to participate in really what we would find awful things. No one ever will tell you, you know, I think you really need to feel shame for the fact that my ancestors were enslaved. And if they did, I'd probably take them not seriously. I would just kind of treat them like I would probably treat this guy. Be like, okay, I'm sorry. Definitely not within my control. What you can do, though, is not be like this. I mean, the truth is that we used to do very horrible things. How do you not do them anymore? Well, you learn from them. Acknowledge them. I don't really think anyone tries to say that they're bad inherently either, and it's just not really a good way to look at history, especially when you're talking about, you know, societal norms or frames of references back in, like, for this kid, it's probably talking of the 1619 Project.
Claim on its own that you therefore are bad as well. And I think that there's a lot of things that you
could also just be bad.
Should be angry about.
You could just be fucking bad too.
And if you have a young boy who's going through that, if you have gone through that, these are things you should be angry about. That doesn't mean.
Should you be telling your young boy the things that Andrew Tate does? Wait a minute. No? Oh.
You should be selfish.
Right.
Same thing idea of like, you shouldn't intimidate and you shouldn't lead with force. But doesn't.
I think the problem is more like if you try to do that in every situation because you are certainly not a stoic, even though you say you are, because you think that somehow watching a YouTube video on Marcus Aurelius is going to teach you these things. But you probably shouldn't do this in every situation. It's not necessary. It's also not effective. It's also going to make your life suck. So
It doesn't mean you shouldn't be a dominating figure. It doesn't mean that you should.
It means you should learn when you should not be a dominating figure, which is probably most of the time.
Shouldn't lead with a positive masculine leadership of.
So positive masculine leadership is a different word and phrase here, right? What did he say? Dominant before? Dominating figure? Okay. These two seem to be conflated right now.
Of what that is it is a dominant. And if you have.
It doesn't have to be dominant. It can be someone who knows how to lead other people to do things. It could be someone who knows how to speak, not dominantly, but tenderly. It could be knowing how to not get mad when your son throws a shitty pitch and ends up getting a home run, or the batter does. It could be not turning into the baseball dad who screams the N-word. Okay? Those are all positive masculine things, not dominant.
Have a young boy who's going through that. If you have gone through that, these are things you should be angry about. That doesn't mean you should be selfish.
Right.
Same thing idea of like, you shouldn't intimidate and you shouldn't lead with force, but doesn't mean you shouldn't be a dominating figure. And I think the good manosphere figures, I mean, you named a couple of them, whether they're good or bad, I don't want to mention the personal.
Why not? I don't even know what that is. Right. You kind of just probably live it, right? I don't have kids yet, but I imagine that's how it works. I like to believe, I mean, I think I'm going to swing pendulum-wise in terms of like what I expect from what I didn't get in my life. But I feel like you probably just live your life and then you're, whatever your dad you're going to be to your kids. So.
The lives of those people.
Yeah.
But the message of like, shut up, go to the gym. I'm sorry your life is hard.
Right.
And you.
Okay, so no one writes news headlines about go to the gym.
Should be angry about that, and you should.
No one writes news headlines about that. No one reports raping a bunch of women and then calling them shit 24/7 and then, you know, saying go to the gym. But that's not all they say.
You should fight back, but you need to channel that into, you know, talking
shit to women?
To that pretty girl anyway.
Yeah.
Or calling her a slut when she doesn't give you her number? That sure.
Yeah.
And being strong anyway.
That's not strong, dude. Hitting her with a WID text at 2 a.m. and then failing spectacularly and then calling her a fucking slut over and over again for 12 hours is not strong, buddy. Nope. This kid's definitely been blocked many times.
I want to make 2 points. One is that I think you've just done the same thing with feminism that you accused me of doing with the.
He did. I was wondering if he was going to say that. The no true Scotsman thing, but incorrectly.
Right, which is taking some of the most extreme claims and then classifying the entire school of thought based on those extreme claims. We can get into the nuts and bolts
Well, I'm
of that.
taking what's taught in elementary schools.
Yeah. He looked like one of the enemy Russian dudes in John Wick.
Which is some extreme stuff. And
The extreme manosphere stuff isn't taught in elementary schools.
I understand
The
It's taught on TikTok.
future is female. You see people wearing that in their elementary.
Who the fuck is wearing the future is female in their elementary school? If it's not like a funny Target joke shirt.
Elementary schools.
I understand.
Can we agree that's an extreme position?
I do agree with that.
Okay.
So, like, I would agree with you on that probably shouldn't be in an elementary school.
Not a good concession. I would like to know why this kid is at elementary schools all the time. And if we should be concerned.
Yeah.
This
Funded by the state.
Yes. The second.
Funded by the state? Funny thing about that claim now is that anything funded by the state is transparent. Survey says
that probably shouldn't be in an elementary school.
Yeah.
This
Funded by the state.
Yes.
that was a lie.
The second point, there's the advice, and then there's the packaging, right?
Yes.
What
a weird thing to say. Funded by the state, as if the state funds anything for schools to begin with, especially elementary schools. Because most elementary school funding, if I'm not mistaken, come from locality. Local governments. Property taxes. Wow. Who would have thought? So, what did we learn?
You just said, right? Get your life together. Go to the gym. Take care of yourself. Like, work
Amen.
on yourself.
Yes, sir.
Right? Like, these are all great things. My point would be that you can get that advice in 100 other different places.
No, but you can't get it in the roided up rage of a bald guy who rents a Lamborghini for a day to sell you a music video about fucking assaulting women. I mean, come on now.
Without the toxic packaging.
But that doesn't go
attached.
viral. People don't see it. The media
Totally.
suppresses it. The environment, if you
I was joking. No, stop. Stop. No. How? I was being ironic, man. That doesn't go viral. No woman gets assaulted.
you want to get the message out, you have to go.
You have to go extreme. Are you serious? What do we do here? Yeah, you know what? It's just the price we're going to have to take. In order to get the message out, the positive message about men and masculinity, we need to talk about beating women. You need to...
Extreme. And I wish we didn't have that. And if we want to talk about...
Yeah, what's your question?
How we should restructure.
This is context dependent. I could easily describe to you right now, Slayer. Two scenarios in which you would absolutely agree to both of them. And one of them would be one where you think that vicarious liability is not something that even makes sense, and then the other one would be like, oh, okay, yeah, probably they should be held liable. Let me give you an example. Let's say you have an office building, and you're a medium to large size company and corporation, and you decide that it's a little too expensive to light up the pathway to the building. Okay? As in, let's say it's a little bit of an underdeveloped area, and the parking lot has lights, but it's a pretty long little, like, I don't know, scenic little, like, not a dirt road, but, you know, let's say you had to go on a little bit of a journey to get to the office building. And you decide that you don't really need lights there. It's not really a big deal anyway. People usually leave daytime. You know, barely anyone stays there at night. And then you have another scenario where you actually built lights on that pathway. In the first scenario, let's say that at some point, another coworker decides to sexually assault that woman on that path that you didn't put lights on. Seemingly by choice, I guess. You kind of had an idea of consequences maybe, but realistically, it's not like you meant for it to happen. Second scenario, you put lights there and that never happens, which is not something it's hard for me to say that like somehow someone who's willing to go that far wouldn't do these things, but it's probably more likely that it wouldn't happen on the property of the company. So in both scenarios, okay, do you think they both hold the same amount of liability? The company, that is. Does one, in my opinion, like which one, or are they the same? Is there a difference in liability to you, or is there like it's not, doesn't matter, they're both the same liability? Which could be none. Hey, Elijah. Yeah, I'm watching this guy. I was joking about like a music video talking about assaulting women, and then he's like, yeah, but we need to do those music videos of assaulting women because it's extreme. It's pretty annoying so far. It's another employee. Both scenarios are identical. The only difference is you put lights on that pathway to the office from the parking lot because it's still technically your property. No, it's not that simple. It's more, in these cases, Slayer, it's more about what you would find reasonable. So let me try and give you another example, another scenario, that way you can kind of understand what I'm saying. Let's say an office again, an office building, okay? And the building has lights on the outside that are on normally, okay? after a power outage, in the first scenario, okay, we're going to do 2 scenarios again. First scenario, the building experiences a power outage, and when it comes back on, it damages the lights on a corner of the building on the outside. So now it's just like pitch dark. And you decide that you don't want to fix it for a while. It's not a big deal again. It's daytime. Who cares? And let's say the same experience happens. Employee on employee. You know, someone who is working for you left the office and was assaulted in that pitch black. Let's say scenario 2. After you turn the power back on, you find out that part of the building's lights are off. You decide that you're going to fix it quickly because you feel like it's the reasonable thing to do to make sure that, you know, when people are leaving the office, that it's lit up. These things have massive deterrence to them. But the point is, you fix the lights. And let's just say that the same experience happened. The employee that was working for you walked out, was assaulted by another employee, but it was lit up. The same result happened, but the issue here is there's a reasonability that we expect when it comes to liability. And this should be kind of obvious, I think. A restaurant that doesn't fix lights, like I just mentioned, they have servers who leave at the end of the night, and women are much higher, they're targeted at higher rates than anyone else in that industry at that moment. So if you don't put lights on the outside, yeah, reasonable risk and safety, yeah. Known risks. The risks in that moment are pretty high, and if you have a reasonable expectation with a little amount of effort, okay, then yeah, you could be held liable. In massive parking structures like at Disneyland, I don't know if you've ever been to Disneyland, they have these help buttons, right? Because the parking lot's fucking huge, and to get help is pretty hard. And Disney, after having issues because it's unreasonable for anyone to actually get help if they need it, decided to, being forced to, put help buttons there because their parking lots are small countries. So I mean, it's also a way to protect against just like scenarios that, again, negligence is a big thing. So negligence is where this really starts to become liability for people who own companies. So did you operate on with negligence? If I don't fix my lights and I know that I run a restaurant and one of my servers leaves the restaurant and then gets assaulted, I'm being negligent. So that means I should be punished for it 100%. If all I had to do was just fix lights when, I'm running a business, I'm in charge of the property, which means I'm in charge of reasonable safety measures and things like that, not being negligent, then just don't be negligent. So yes, it depends on the context. I want you to understand it is really hard to overcome the negligence thing, but there's obviously scenarios where you can think of where you just kind of go, I mean, that's just obvious. It doesn't matter if you sign a contract either. If you sign a terms and conditions, right, and something happens, a lot of times terms and conditions do not cover things like negligence for obvious reasons. If you make a terms and conditions like anyone who enters my parking structure is unable to sue me for any reason if they get injured in my parking structure. People are like, there's a contract. You can't sue them. It's like, okay. This parking structure hasn't been repaired in a long time, and one of the floors collapsed and then fell on a car beneath it and hurt someone. Do you think the terms and conditions is valid there? Fuck no, it's not. Like, you should probably make sure it doesn't happen. You know what I mean? Insurance would pay for that, by the way. That's what insurance is for. But no one would ever be like, I think that's covered under the terms and conditions. It did say no injury is valid to sue. Ready? Yeah. What time is it? 4? They would sue the company. You're acting on behalf of the company. Unless, Slayer, you did something specifically fraudulent on a personal level. As in, like, let's say there wasn't, like, fraudulent selling practices happening. You literally took, like, advantage of them and put money into a specific place, but told the company on paperwork that you did something else. You would get sued then. But if you're acting on behalf of the company as a reasonable representative, then the company gets sued. For sure. I think. These are interesting questions. Where do you come up with these questions?
The systems of YouTube and everything, that would be great. And I think we're trying to do that now, trying to get this out.
Do you have to go extreme? I mean, like, so I'll give an example of somebody who I do think is a healthy figure in this space, which is Chris Williamson. He is like the 8th biggest podcast in the world right now. Like, he's not extreme. He's not saying all the same shit that like Andrew Tate is saying or Myron Gaines is saying, right? It's like, I have an audience of over 10 million people. I'm not saying any of this shit. I don't think you have to be extreme.
He does? 10 million?
Extreme to get
Oh.
it. And I
TikTok, though.
worry that there's some good messages are being attached to so many poison pills that a lot of young men don't know how to differentiate between the good advice and the toxic advice, that it's leading them down a bad path.
There certainly is some toxic
FinRai
advice out there, but the idea that that's the primary thing that people are learning from these, I don't think that's true. If you're gone down the rabbit hole and you're watching, 6 hours of Myron Gaines and 4 hours of Andrew Tate, and you're watching Clav streams all the time, these people, but that's not the majority of people who are involved in the manosphere.
Totally.
That's not what's happening. The things that you're getting from these people are saying, you know what, maybe you should put more interest into your look. It's not.
That's not really what they're saying, though. I wish it were just that, but they wouldn't be famous then.
Everything, but obviously your look matters, and maybe you should go to the gym. It's not everything, but obviously the gym.
Or maybe you should, call women whores and sluts, right? I missed a step.
It matters. All of these messages.
I missed a step.
Is maybe packaged with a more extreme idea to it.
Sure.
But
oh, you mean like the mass texting you're a whore and slut at 3 a.m. that you just kind of glossed over? Is that what?
The extremeness is how you go viral. And someone.
He's literally just. Yeah, but that's necessary.
Like Chris Williamson and someone like yourself, these are great people, but you guys aren't being the #1 talked about person on the internet.
Is he arguing against himself right now? Why is he arguing against himself?
You guys aren't changing the fundamental way that people view our culture.
The fundamental way that people view our culture negatively, right?
Sure, and I wish you could.
I have no idea what is happening. Why do you wish he could be that piece of shit? He doesn't want to. He's arguing that you shouldn't be platforming the piece of shits. And you're out here saying, I get it, it's bad, but it's necessary to assault women and say they suck in order to go to the gym.
But the internet isn't set up for that.
We're also not doing it because I don't think it helps. So, for example, Movember survey from 2025 found that, Young men who regularly consume manosphere content or masculinity influencers were much more likely to report feelings of worthlessness, extreme sadness, and extreme anxiety.
That's backwards causation. It's the people who are
Backwards causation? I'm sorry, what? That is quite literally a correlation. It's a poll. That was a poll.
Feelings of worthless.
This is called a poll. It was reported, it was a poll. They went, hey, how sad are you now? How sad are you here? And then they had another box that went, do you consume Andrew Tate? And then they went, there seems to be a correlation. The fuck is backwards causation?
Extreme sadness and extreme anxiety.
That's backwards causation. It's the people who are feeling extreme worthlessness or looking for someone to teach them what to do.
That's not called backwards causation. But yes, you would probably not want to use a poll to make the claim in the presentable way that this guy just said. He's correctly identifying an issue with self-reported polls, because yes, the people who are more likely to respond here might be people who have higher feelings of worthlessness. Except, I don't know the methodology. I doubt it's going to be that methodical. Primarily because it was a fucking magazine study, I think. But who knows? Maybe they actually controlled for that. You know? They had a preliminary question. Are you do you consume Andrew Tate this many hours a day? And they're like, fucking eat that guy.
You don't see that same correlation show up in other self-help genres, though.
Well, that has self-help.
I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true. I think there is a correlation between people who experience what the self-help genre is trying to fix for them. I think that's factually true.
Self-help genres don't help almost always. They're almost always feel-good nonsense.
It's like people who pick up a book for self-help think they need help by definition, or it's just like they're more likely to say that. But the self-help genre is somewhat poisonous, and the manosphere genre is not exactly a self-help genre only, though. It is a abusive and manipulative genre in a different way.
If you're told you're good the way you are,
non-compete one.
You can do whatever you need. You're a magic special person. That's the kind of thing that someone who is looking for that kind of experience.
Were the firms, was he poaching clients? He was doing it for clients of the firm, right? Can't be doing that. He was executing trades, but he was meeting these clients probably because they came to the bank, right? He would just say like, hey, I can do this on the side. That definitely would be a big no-no. Yeah.
Experience.
Right.
The person who
That's
is
a lot of money lost by the company.
feeling bad needs someone to tell them, yeah, you are feeling bad. And you need to grow up and you need to get strong. And so the correlation
and the Matrix
is just
holding
backwards.
you down, and it's
Well,
not,
it is. We just agreed that elementary schools are trying to oppress men at the age of.
We definitely did not agree. Holy fucking imagination, man. What the hell?
7.
Is that the Matrix?
The state, funded by the state. Of course, it's the Matrix.
Is this a federal policy to tell 7-year-olds that the future is a woman?
It's in every elementary school. We just
Maybe he didn't, he didn't choose those stocks.
agreed on that.
I did not agree.
He focused on marijuana ETFs.
It's in every elementary school.
Okay, not every single one.
I agree
but
it's in some, and it's probably the doing of certain far left teachers and educators.
Which begins in the.
Why are you accepting this? What are we talking about?
The far left universities, which
Dude, watch it. He's literally like, thank you. Give me another piece of candy.
are funded by the state and are
I thought you said elementary school. Universities are not really that funded by the state, man. They're funded by government loans that come from the state, but it's not direct.
structured from the top down to oppress.
So
Where's the top?
Structure isn't natural.
To bring it back
What is the natural structure?
to my point,
Yeah.
which is that you just made the
Is it horizontal? Is there a Z? Does the structure include time so I can go back in time and not fucking hear a single word that you just said of that stupid fucking statement? Because I would really like to do that.
point that a lot of self-help advice is
Not natural.
bullshit.
Oh, almost
Not natural like a mountain.
all of it.
Garbage, right? Let's take like The Secret, right? Law of attraction stuff. Do you agree that that's kind of ridiculous? Because I do.
Law of attraction, I'm not sure exactly how that works. I haven't heard
It's
this
like
one.
if you just believe that you
Manifest.
deserve something, the universe will
You'll manifest it.
give it to you.
Oh, yeah, that's not
You put that Porsche 911 Turbo S on your wall, and you stare at it every day, and then you'll be literally the Porsche 911.
nonsense.
Okay.
But it is the case that you could fake it till you make it, and if you act as though you have it, you might be more likely to get it.
And you might, depending on what it is, do a lot of harm. But I faked it until I made it in some circumstances. This advice is, I think, good in a very contextual way. Not go contemptuously bother this woman until you call her a whore endlessly.
Perfect. So we agree on that. So that's a perfect example of what's actually like kind of a good piece of advice, but then it's packaged in this ridiculous cosmological, like, oh, the universe's energy is going to serve you what you deserve and all this shit, right?
It's almost the health and wealth gospel, which is
Right.
a violation of the Christian heresy, basically.
But that gets millions of people to start focusing more on their goals and dreams. So my argument is that the manosphere is doing the same thing. It has all of this ideology around the matrix and the system is oppressing you and you should be angry and all this.
Well, you should be.
So get up and
Wait. So you should be the victim? I thought you said not to be the victim. It was all a ploy. I am the victim.
clean your room and go to the gym.
Yes.
So it's good advice packaged in this like
But the package that you
elaborate-
just said that you should be angry is the correct package because
All right,
I'm
we got
angry
a pause
about
there.
it.
You've been voted out by the majority.
It's great talking to them.
Yeah, you too.
I think we agree on more things than it may seem.
We might.
Nice to meet you.
Hey, how are you doing?
Good. What's your view on men right now, like in 2026? Do you believe that the current situation for young men is approximately the same as
Keeps looking at the camera. Interesting.
15, 20 years ago? Or
No, it's much worse.
okay, why would you believe that the current situation for young men is approximately the same as 15, 20 years ago? Or
No, it's much worse.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and say, I don't know. People don't like this answer, but it's just a fact. There's no way to know. I can tell you one thing. We know problems in today, and we should try to fix those problems today. Okay?
okay, why would you say that it's worse?
Things have gotten really rough for young men, and I think it is.
This is why you really shouldn't try to compare entire generations. Like, they're just some, trying, like, again, like voter ID, transposable voting systems. Why not just talk about the fact that it is rough, I think, for young men because of things like the internet's continuous development, things like social media becoming more and more sexualized, and not just because sexualized for what we think would be positive, but no, it's most definitely difficult. I really wasn't around when I was younger. I can imagine it's probably a new, separate, difficult thing, not something that's better or worse, just that's how life works. You have to take it in some context, but mainly you have to just fix what we know today.
Fundamentally structural and economic. It has to do with the technology. It has to do with the nature of the economies changing. And the reason I believe
all of those things existed 15 years ago.
believe this, and I don't buy it's feminism's fault, is because when you look globally, you look at countries that have not had a large feminist impact, the young men are struggling just as much there, if not more. And if you look at some of the countries that are even more progressive and more feminist than the United States, the men are doing better there than they are doing here. So I don't think it's...
I really don't care to answer this question with, well, have you tried polling the fucking African boys? Like, are you fucking kidding me right now? I don't care. They honestly don't have the same issues. That's the point. We like when we compare everything, hyper comparison, right? One's cross-country analysis. Sucks ass. You want to know the worst form of economic analysis? It's called cross-country analysis. It is the weakest form of argumentation in economics. Second, okay? I don't think he even answered the question. He just said it's rough. He said technology a little, and then just kind of like shirked it off. I don't know. What were the totals before?
Feminism, I think it's happening at a
Also,
much more fundamental...
I do want to say that is the state of men defined by the percentage of men who commit suicide? I know it's probably a big contributor to the way that we would think about what men are facing in terms of their problems, but my question is still pretty valid here. Are you comfortable just tying the entire... That's what I mean. So higher rates are concerning, but they don't actually tell us it's worse now than ever before. But I'm curious to see what the numbers are.
Level than culture.
Or how much.
Yeah, I hear that. And
total we're
honestly, I
talking about.
agree with you that a lot of these manosphere characters, they use the anti-feminist and anti-woman thing as a kind of, it is a packaging and it does obviously go viral.
Yeah.
But I think what's interesting to me is that we have this.
All suicides would be concerning, but Slater, we are talking about men right now. I don't know why none of us here think that suicide is something that's fine if it's not men, right? It's just, he is talking specifically about men. I think it's contextually relevant. It's fine. Where are you getting 20%? I think the economic condition, in which not opportunities, but if overall the economic condition was better, it would probably lead to less suicide for men. Yes. I'm seeing a different report from the NCHS. From 2001 to 2018, it was 10.7 to 14.2, the age-adjusted suicide rate, and then declined to 13.5, and then increased to 14.1. That's what I'm seeing. Looks like this. Still quite a big jump. "2020 impacted a lot, apparently."
This conversation of does the cart come before the horse? Is the manosphere causing men to be angry at women, and that's causing more incel behavior, or is the society becoming more difficult for men to navigate and creating more incels that are already frustrated, and then they see this content on YouTube saying, you should be doing this and that, and this is really what women think, and that resonates. So what would you say? You're saying that it's...
I would say it's both.
It's both.
I personally believe that the manosphere is the wrong answer to a very legitimate problem, right? The legitimate problem is that young men and boys are struggling. They have fewer role models.
They're not having sex, right?
Right.
I mean,
Speak for yourself. No, I'm kidding.
And they have fewer role models. They have fewer people to look up to. They're getting advice from fewer places. The manosphere is filling that vacuum, but I believe that it's filling it with a lot of toxic information. There's a whole subreddit called X Red Pill, and if you go through there and read all those guys' stories, it's
extreme.
Yeah, it's ugly.
So why do you think, genuinely, what is you said that there's some systematic change that's happening across, you said globally. So what do you think that is?
My guess is that it's a combination of moving to a more globalized services economy, right? If you actually look at the psychological differences between men and women, right? It's like women tend to be a little bit more pro-social. They tend to be a little bit better at building and connecting and managing relationships. We're in an economy where that is more valuable than ever before, right? If you look at male psychology, right? Men are, I think, 4 times more likely to have ADHD. Men tend to lose interest in things. They have lots of anti-energy.
Okay, we have tons of statistics being thrown out that ultimately I would just reject. Even the psychology ones. Women's agreeableness and things like that are based in studies from the 70s, and they all come in with their institutional bias about women being disagreeable or more agreeable. So a lot of things he just said was just regurgitation of what he thought is true because it says so in a paper from the 70s or the 90s. These findings are correlative. I'm not saying it's wrong, but pretty weak.
We get male psychology, right? Men, they have lots of anti-energy. We have so many devices.
Women get treated differently in healthcare. And you know what that means? They get diagnosed with not just ADHD less. They get diagnosed with cancer and things like that less. So just want to make sure that that's known.
So many screens bombarding us with distractions all the time. It wouldn't surprise me if young men are more susceptible to that sort of distraction and that dopamine treadmill.
They're not. Women are equally as susceptible
than young women.
I don't really know why you would say that.
So would
we got to pause there. You've been voted out.
Okay.
It's just getting good.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a 2010 emo girls Tumblr page? Motherfucker, I tell you. Talk about dopamine addiction.
Whoa.
Hi. Sorry.
You really went for it.
So what do you think is extreme? What are some of the extreme views?
I would say anything that is intentionally demeaning the fundamental value of a woman.
Could you give me an example?
Well, the body count example.
But can you understand how there is a correlation between being willing to take a lot of dick from a lot of different people?
your ability to not lay down that dick to anyone, I think.
And not thinking highly of yourself.
Only if you apply this, I guess. I'm not really sure why you would just assume this.
Perhaps, I don't know.
So I don't think that you're lowering the quality of a woman by saying like, hey, just so you know, it's probably not the best thing for you to.
But that could be true for men as well.
Men should not be taking dick from a lot of strangers.
Oh my God. Once again, the problem here is this dude doesn't understand that the act of sex does not destroy anyone. It may, in your mind, again, if we talked to an insecure fuck yesterday, if your brain immediately thinks that when a girl has sex that they are literally destroyed, okay, like, you know, the fucking cartoon character version of that. I don't know how to tell you this, but that's not what happens. Your brain might think so. You might, you know, you might go home or go to your buds at the bar and be like, fucked her so hard, you know what I mean? But like, there's no destruction happening. That's something that you put onto the act of sex, the roles of which we apply in like a social ontological way. So once you remove that part and realize that it's actually just fucking fundamentally pretty normal, then this certainly should go away. Just making sure that's obvious. No.
I agree. Both genders.
It's true for straight men as well, taking lots of vagina as well. It's generally low self-esteem correlates very strongly with sexual partners over.
That's not really to do with sexual partners. That's probably going to be something more to do with the fact that they can't maintain a relationship. I think that would be more of the fundamental thing happening here. Low self-esteem, difficulty maintaining relationships, you know, not did I get fucked or not? Are you fucking retarded? What are we doing? Like, what am I watching?
All
totally agree.
Yes,
I think it's worse.
But that doesn't make them worse people.
Okay.
We're patronizing the hypothetical body count girl. Oh, sweetie, that doesn't make you less or worse. I'm just saying that you have low self-esteem because dick. Are you... I'm starting to get really annoyed. Both of these two have zero clue what the fuck they're talking about.
Okay.
The same way like somebody with low self-esteem is more likely to abuse alcohol or...
Yes, because of a psychological thing. Right? Not dick. Whoa, that was fast.
Or drugs.
Totally.
Like, doesn't make them a bad person.
But it's not good. And also, taking dick is a little bit worse than giving it.
Why?
Okay, I had a feeling this was gonna come up because this dude thinks it's destruction. He thinks it's literally, I've destroyed. It's no longer the same.
All right, we got to pause there. You've been voted
Like, relax, bro. You ain't laying down any pipe.
out. Reminder, we want to
Okay, even then, it's not a thing, okay?
stay focused on the prompt.
God.
The current prompt. Thank you.
Okay.
Wait until he has sex for the second time with the same woman. Wait, I thought it was supposed to get destroyed.
Hi.
What's happening?
Nice to meet you.
How you doing?
What's your name?
Mark.
Mark. My name is Mauro.
Nice to meet you.
God bless you.
Are you familiar with the red pill, blue pill philosophy?
Yes. My understanding of it.
I do not like or enjoy the way this man was leaning into this question.
It is that the blue pill is basically what society has taught you. You know, do what the man tells you, follow the typical 9 to 5.
No, it's from the Matrix, buddy.
Job. And then the red pill is when you wake up and realize that nothing is as it seems, that society has been duping you, and that it's our responsibility as men to, you know, take control of our lives and go back to the way nature intended it. How'd I do?
You did actually pretty great.
Okay.
Do you believe in that?
No.
Not at all?
No.
Not even a little bit?
No, because I'm not Neo from the Matrix. No, it's not a real thing. What does the sexual revolution mean, dude? Here, Slayer, I'm gonna give you some insight, okay? People didn't just randomly start fucking more, okay? They've always been fucking, and they're gonna continue to fuck, and they'll be fucking for a long time. And slapping some label about the sexual revolution is a waste of time because people are always gonna fuck. Okay.
Look, I believe like society's not perfect.
Right.
Society's definitely like fucked up.
Okay, yeah. That's true.
But I don't think there's any sort of like conspiracy thing going on. As a man, yes, you have to take control of your life. You have to build value for yourself. You have to do something with yourself, right? Like
I believe that.
100% agree with that.
150%.
Yeah. It's what I disagree with is all of the packaging and the philosophy.
No,
I mean, what does that mean? I mean, Slayer, did to educate with them? Look, ma'am. My opinion is y'all elected a fucking sex addict. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. Maybe she's representative of wherever she's coming from in UK sex town, but like, is this somehow like a dangerous thing? I think she it's interesting. It's one way to sell an OnlyFans page, I guess. I'm not really sure if this was made in not irony though, right, Slayer? I don't really feel like I'm getting her entire statement, do I? Oh, she said it on this
when it comes
podcast?
to your sexuality?
She said it on a podcast. Yeah? Wait. Wait, never mind. It's not her? To combat abuse? I need to see her entire opinion. I do want to point out, guys, sex education is pretty important, especially for young women. The reason why is because the most likely people, unfortunately, to abuse a young woman are going to be the very people who are supposed to be responsible for her. Like, in an absurdly high majority of the time. And if we rely on the parents always, instead of remembering that kids are individuals who need to be protected as well from parents, and I mean that very clearly, okay? She's not going to know what is wrong or know how, why it's wrong if no one tells her, and she just gets abused until she's 18. So, would you guys be okay with that? I don't know. I don't think I'd be okay with them. It seems to me like she wanted to do it to combat abuse. I'm not getting enough of her. There's literally not enough information for me to make it. It seems weird, but that could just be the way it's reported. Certainly. So far, I think her messaging is just a little too sex positive, not messaging positive.
Right on. Actually, I actually agree with that. I think actually like the supposed like manosphere whole ideology actually has been actually hijacked. You know what I mean? With these people like Andrew Tate or Nick Fuentes, you know what I mean? Like I don't think they're the epitome of masculinity.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think that really represents what a man actually is. You know,
Fuck yeah, dude. Preach.
I mean, I do believe with some of their ideologies, but not entirely. You know what I mean? Like, do I think, men and women are equal? No. Do I believe that they're complementary? Yes, absolutely.
Equal in what way? No one actually thinks men and women are equal. Probably because no one should think that every person is equal in that sense. Like some magical fucking cookie character, some me character you just fucking chop out of the fucking cookie batter, right? Like, but somehow I feel like that's not what he would say if I push back on this. He'd be like, well, no, you're misunderstanding me. I mean, like, men and women biologically are different. And to that, I'd be like, okay. Like muscles or what? Still different between men. I mean, that's true. The fuck?
For sure. But I just want to tell you also, like, part of the manosphere right, philosophy is the red pill, blue pill, and I actually do 50% believe in that. And I do believe in the Matrix, you know what I mean? And you're stuck in this rat race, you know what I mean? And you don't want to be part of that. And then I've been actually like a quote unquote like red pill. I really take that philosophy to heart.
You know, the thing about the red pill, blue pill, right? Like you could look at that as just taking responsibility for your own life.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah,
And that's an idea that's thousands.
It's almost a requirement now, Slayer.
Of years old.
Absolutely, yeah. It's the analogy of the cave.
Yeah.
You have these men stuck at the bottom of a pit of a cave.
Yeah.
Just watching pure shadows.
Yeah.
And that's, to me, almost the same as like you're watching the news, you're watching TV.
Yeah.
I think we can all agree, like.
I'm confused. Watching the news doesn't necessarily have to be bad unless you're fucking stupid at doing it. You don't know how to, ingest it properly. Clearly, this guy doesn't because he watched The Matrix one time and he thinks it's real life.
Like, the news isn't 100% truthful.
Neither is Neo in The Matrix, dude.
And then once you wake up to this illusion,
You mean like you're not in The Matrix anymore?
you leave the cave. You leave the cave with this
Metaphorically.
deception, and you wake up to actually how the world truly works.
And what is that enlightened one? Why don't you tell me? Am I going to get that answer?
And the world definitely works against us.
Yeah.
So take responsibility and accountability. Take the red pill. Leave the cave. Become the victim? Wow.
Absolutely. This dominion is not of the Lord. This earth, actually, the devil controls it. And he's the one, actually, I definitely do believe.
Now you lost me.
I'm going to end it there, guys. I'm going to go to Disneyland. Thank you all for watching. Sorry, I'm ending it kind of abruptly. But I hope you all have a wonderful night. Peace out, A-Town. The devil controls the world. Assure.